Good evening everyone, welcome to Hearts of Blazing Season 2, Week 2. This is a alternating bi-weekly tournament featuring support for Granblue Fantasy Versus and Guilty Gear Xrd. Last week we saw Guilty Gear, and this week we're back to Granblue. We had a ridiculous amount of people in the bracket last week. We have 50 players, a ton of talent, and I was really expecting this one to be a step down, but no. The Granblue community showed up again. We've got about 45 people showing off their Yule. And I'm joined today by none other than Virum, the dashing man in red himself, so if you'd like to introduce himself.
Hello everybody, I am Virum, definitely very excited to commentate for Hearts of Blazing. I have my fair share of commentary experience in the past, but first time commentating Granblue, so I'm definitely looking forward to it.
They're going straight into their match.
Ooh.
Ready and eager to go. Right, so the two players that we got in front of us right now are Dizzy and Koji. Dizzy actually won a couple of tournaments in the past. Thank you so much for the subscription, by the way. That's really appreciated, C5. Yeah, so Dizzy has actually won a couple of tournaments before, placing relatively high in HAB, but specifically the Big Gibbs tournament, for some reason. Looks like they're doing a button check anyway, so... What's it technically?
It's how it is sometimes, man. Sometimes technology just decides that it doesn't want to agree with us every now and then. And it's always at the times we really need it.
Yeah, I mean, the players are a little bit delayed, and now I'm a little bit delayed. Koji is out of the room.
Oh dear.
Interesting start to the... See if I tab out.
So obviously this is the first tournament that's happened for EU Granblue with regards to UL's, well, post-UL's release. So what do we think about the character so far?
I think she's one of the cooler designed characters in the game, period. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, obviously, this could be a bit biased, but I genuinely think she's one of the best designed characters. Not just because she's cute and fluffy, but also because she seems to have a really interesting playstyle. She's very heavy on reads and conditioning, and she's basically always having to do something. She's very active. Never really sits back and does nothing like a lot of the more footsie-based characters in it. The way that she plays the game is running offense and trying to get an option, auto parry, DP, etc., and relatively safe specials to mount some pretty good offense. Her damage isn't that high, but if a character like that had high damage, it would be a bit psychotic.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I think it's really interesting just seeing the nature of the new DLC characters this season. Post Bilal, of course, we had Cagliostro before, who is another very interesting character, very unique among the roster. Of course, she has all her traps and a lot of incredible corner pressure and just crazy setups all over the place. And now we're coming onto UL. It definitely feels like they found their stride in terms of these kind of character archetypes and character designs, and they're experimenting a little bit more with things now that they've gotten comfortable with the sort of roster that they want to make.
I mean, they're giving the characters absolutely psychotic, self-approaching buttons like Allow far heavy and now you're medium. And brilliant buttons. I'm just wondering, do you want me to Discord stream this, or are you going to head on into the lobby?
I'll Discord stream would be nice, please.
Alright, there we go. Just in time as we start to get another match. Now, hopefully we're not going to have a crash this time, and everything should be as is expected at this point. To get back to who these players are, we have Dizzy on the one side and Koji on the other. Dizzy has won a couple of tournaments in the past, namely the big team tournament that featured over 70 to 80 players, hosted by Gibbs. He actually ended up winning that, beating out my team in winners semis, OCVing us with Loain. The Catalina army was felled on that day, and on the other side we have Burst Koji, who is a very good Zeta player, who has placed relatively highly in a lot of our Xrd tournaments, and I believe he also took part in Celtic Throwdown, so new season fighting gameplays for sure. Koji predominantly a Guilty Gear player though, so it should be interesting to watch him play. He does play Kai, though, that his big buttons aren't going to be very alien to it.
We're already got to a pretty strong start. Finally, it seems like Dizzy finding that opening, and of course, here comes the corner pressure coming out from Loain. That overhead from Loain, I feel like it's one of the more ambiguous overheads in the game. Just the way that it starts off, it doesn't read that well. It's definitely something that catches your guard.
He gives you a lot of things to worry about as well. He puts a lot of color on the screen, etc. So, plus he has one of the best pro games out there. It really helps to harness and embellish his universal overhead as well. Makes it absolutely terrifying for it.
And speaking of things to watch out for, of course, Mother Iggy coming up on the screen to ruin Koji's first round.
Now, I will admit that Lewayne, I kind of have a hankering for the character, and that right there is why this is not the best reversal in the game, folks.
Yeah.
Zeta stance is not free if someone's ready with the anti-air. It's a pretty free confirm. Obviously gets him out of the corner, but now he's found himself all the way on the other side, and there comes the setup.
Once again.
Nice, goes for it again. It's about, but now you get to deal with HPA with not very much HP. Gets caught on the crossover. Oh.
Yeah, definitely one of the biggest knowledge check characters in this game in Lewayne. If you're not ready for both of those Skybound arts, he will make those comebacks happen and he will tear you to shreds.
Now, the thing is that this matchup, back in the day, back when everyone considered Lewayne and Zeta to be bottom tier, this matchup used to be considered 7-3, but with a lot of the usability issues being fixed for Lewayne, he now has a really solid ground game that can actually fight against Zeta relatively well. I feel like Zeta still is at advantage in this matchup for a plethora of reasons, but Lewayne can definitely have a good fighting chance when in the past people used to think this is one of the worst matchups that the game had to offer. Oh, rolled out of the corner using the HPA and catches the stance of the anti-air. And then that's the overhead turned around. The robbery, Lewayne special.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of the story of Lewayne in general. Like, a lot of, very early on, it seemed like he had a lot of those very troublesome matchups, but ever since the start of Season 2, it feels like this character is a genuine threat now. He's genuinely able to compete in a lot of instances.
The ability to be able to confirm into Lido on some sources is really huge, especially because it makes that his genuinely pretty phenomenal buttons like 2U and Faram. It gives them actual ways to convert outside of just spending that EX Awesome Source, which happens to also be his only combo utility as well. The only reliable one. The other ones have very specific hits that make them awesome as a combo video type. Ooh, okay, that's one way to go about it. The thing is that HPA does have super armor, so if you time it right at the end, it's pretty effective, but if you're caught slacking, you get sort of sent down into loser's bracket, but that's the power of Lewayne. Does not give you a second to...
Yeah, definitely have to be very, very quick on how you adapt to Lewayne. Not just, of course, the character, but the way the player is playing Lewayne, of course. That's what it really comes down to a lot of the time. You know, do you have that knowledge of the character? And even if you have that knowledge, are you able to adapt fast enough to how the player wielding Lewayne is coming at you? And, you know, sometimes that just doesn't happen. But excellent stuff to Dizzy moving on.
I mean, he definitely doesn't give you a second to... And the thing is that even if you're on the top of your game, he's the one, a lot of the time, putting you in situations where you have to, unironically guess. He has some of the better set play in the game. There's some of the, well, one of the best throw games, if not the best throw game. So whilst he does have some gimmicks to him, there's definitely some real strength underlying there, which is really cool to see. If you told me 6 months ago that Lewayne was going to be a solid character with a good matchup thread, I would have laughed. But, well, that's the world we live in.
Yeah, he really just does come off as like that joke character, except they unironically made him a solid character. So it's like, wait, what? What's going on?
Oh, I see. Because I had to move that. Alright, that's fixed now. Sorry about that stream. Because I had to remake the game capture. The overlay was going up on side, but that's fixed now. Sorry about that. Having quite a few technical.
Well, I'm sure the lovely people at home can understand.
Quite rushed, as there are quite a few delays coming. We're gonna go into winners round 2 now, and I think I want to stream. Could be a hard one. I did say that I'd stream Cynical, so I will go ahead and do that.
Yeah, even just from the round 2, there's lots of. I mean, obviously, I've only been in the European Granblue community for a couple months now, but there's plenty of names in this bracket that I recognize, and obviously a lot of talent right here. You could have picked pretty much any of these round 2 sets, and we would have been in for a good time.
Yeah, I mean, the European Granblue scene in general is absolutely stacked with talent at this point. But when you're getting 40-man brackets, where every single time it would be impossible to when it's round 1 and 2, got a pretty strong. And I've announced the match now, so we're going to be having Godflash up against Cynical, which is a really interesting one. Again, pretty hard to call. I know that Cynical's been playing quite a bit of Yule, but I know that so has Godflash. So again, it really could go either way. I think that Godflash might be playing Narmaya, but he's definitely a player that is more prone to bringing out a random character in tournament. Like, I've seen him play other characters in tournament before, but a lot of the players that I know have been messing about with Yule are playing their main characters this tournament. For example, I believe Trikiza is playing Narmaya, and I believe Zaji is playing Ferry, but that's an interesting one to think about. Zaji might be off of Ferry this. Are there any players in particular that you're excited to see? Obviously, Citizen didn't quite make it, so no Percy.
Honestly, this set will definitely be one of them. I'm looking forward to seeing how both the Materas play. I know I see Mr. Power and Margin Tenshinhan both in the bracket. I'm definitely looking forward to see how they play. Looking forward to see how Neville does. Just honestly, quite a few players dotted around this bracket that I personally watched and played against. I'm looking forward to seeing how they do.
Nice, here we go. 2 Yules in the lobby. Good start. Alright, but honestly, whilst there is a ton of talent in this bracket, it's going to be really hard to get through all of it in good time, which is a shame, because if it was looking like it would have been in one of the smaller brackets, we would have been able to see Citizen Festival, which is a treat that I haven't had to have in a very long time. But
yeah,
we're bringing up Materas, and Matera versus Yule is one of those perplexing matchups that I'm running through in my head, and I can't land on exactly how that would go. So I really hope we get to see that tonight.
Yeah, it definitely seems like one of those matchups where it's like, okay, well, Yule's got to work her way in versus the plethora of projectiles that. Okay, here comes this is the Narmaya coming out from Godflash.
I thought we could have had some fun, maybe, in an actual even matchup at this point. Not everyone's week 1 Yule.
Battle 1, engage.
Alright, there we go, getting it started off, and something to note instantly from that is that Yule's Far Medium is an absolute monster of a button, with both the first and second hit being special cancelable and cancelable into her 5U. On top of that, her 236L is safe on block, which leads to really interesting situations where she can go into her auto parry stance, which is a 7-frame startup, or try to take a turn back with 22X, which frame traps 2L, or 22H, which also frame traps 2L, which would beat out the auto parry. But you can also just take your turn back with a DP afterwards, you know, classic Grand style. So, this character's definitely got some tricky stuff. If you're not ready for it, you're going to be finding yourself wondering, when on earth is it my turn?
That said, though, Godflash being very, very quick in just taking that first round, just forcing Cynical into that corner. But now, of course, Cynical's turn, getting the EX236 into DP.
Ooh. Nice. One thing to mention as well is that when she is in her auto parry stance, her forward dash and her forward throw look identical. So she hops forwards and throws you. So basically, the way that you usually deal with that is checking it with a good long-range low. You always want to be checking her dashes basically when she's in that stance. There's no reason not to. But obviously, it's easier said than done when you have a plethora of other options to constantly be looking out for as well.
Definitely seems like the way. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And it definitely seems like the way that Godflash wants to play. He wants to play within that Narm far heavy range. That is a lot of damage. That can be the kid.
And that's the thing. That's where I think this character struggles a little bit, because it's very hard for her to actually unironically bully her way in. You're never going to get plus frames, basically. So if you do bully your way in with like a 236L or a far medium, you're not at advantage. So you're going to have to commit to something pretty much directly afterwards. And depending on the type of opponent you're playing against, that can be very difficult. A player like Svampin, for example, would probably mash successfully 100% of the time and play defensively 100% of the time. But the pressure's looking really solid so far, and that's mainly just because we're getting a lot of patience from Godflash right now. Patiently waiting out, taking his turn back, not underneath that much pressure, or threat from the Yule's pressure, I mean.
He's definitely picking... He's definitely doing a really good job picking and choosing his moments and finding the openings where he can. Very nice use of the 2M, and that should be the end of the round.
Beautiful stuff so far. And I will say that I feel like the one thing we're missing from the Yule presser right now is Furrow. Because obviously, Godflash is not having many reasons to just do anything other than block. Even if you do like 236L, then cancel into your stance and do a forward throw, that would still get him off the block. Because at the moment, he isn't seeming to, like there, he isn't trying to push any buttons out. That he's a little bit afraid of you stealing your turn back with DP, etc. Which I respect. And that little kick there looks like it's an overhead. It's not, unfortunately.
It's not, yeah.
Not getting any Leo action in this game yet. But you know, I'm not actually gonna lie. I'm pretty glad that that was not Leo 2. Maybe that's just me. Alright, looks like Godflash is going to be moving forward. It's a good showing from Cynical, especially with the week 1.
Yeah, considering that she's definitely one of the highest skill floor characters, it's understandable that, you know, people won't find their results straight away, but
Funny
to anybody who likes...
Nam.
Yeah. But to anybody who obviously chooses to stick with the character, who knows? Well, I guess we'll see later on in the future.
Now, just to basically run this back, because we've been a little bit swamped, we can slow things down a little bit as we put up to the bracket. Hearts of Blazing is a bi-weekly tournament series, which is going to be spanning over 16 weeks. We're going to be running support for Granblue and Granblue Fantasy Versus and Go to Get Xrd in alternating bi-weeklies. This means that over the course of the next 16 weeks, you'll have 7 open bracket events and then a season finale that you get invited to, depending on the performance that you had throughout the regular season. So if you're interested in playing or getting every chance at some real cash money that is being raised by the Granblue community, we're already over $160 because you guys are amazing, be sure to check out the bi-weeklies. Aside from that though, it's time to do a little bit of a Matcherino chillers again. I haven't managed to do that quite yet. So if you haven't already, or even if you have with the original code, we actually ended up maxing out the Matcherino code that we got given initially. So if you haven't already, be sure to check out the Matcherino. Use code HAB Season 2 GB2, and you can donate 50 cents to the bracket absolutely for free, and that will go straight to the top 3 players. There we go. Ran down the actual format. So we're going to be waiting a little bit now to see who we're going to go ahead and play. I think I want to do Zaji versus Zip. I think that'd be quite a nice match.
Ooh, definitely.
I think we'll do 2 matches. Round 3 as the top. But yeah, it's nice. Now we can actually take a moment to... And we're both from the UK, right? So,
yep.
How's lockdown looking on your side of things?
Well, I'm in London, and we just entered the joyous state of Tier 4, which is... Yeah, not great. It's pretty much the same as how the lockdown was at the very start, where all the non-essential shops are closing, and you know you can't meet up with people. And like within my family, for instance, I'm not able to see my sister over Christmas because we got to keep within different, our own smaller family circles, and it's less than ideal, but we're hanging in there.
Got a little online Granblue to help keep it.
Yeah.
Obviously, though, at the same time, if there's anything that can vouch for Corona being less than ideal, it would be online Granblue.
Absolutely.
I'm really looking forward to getting to... Again, we were talking a moment ago about the absolutely ridiculous amount of talent that we have in this bracket. But it would be so great to see players on an international level. I genuinely think a lot of them hold up. Zaji versus our very own Zavid. It's been recently been helping out pretty much continuously in the challenge side of things. Been a great help. Today I was a little bit swamped, so he took care of a little bit of the seeding and getting the bracket sorted out. So, and huge shout outs to Zavid and all the other tournament staff that helped me keep going.
Staff tournaments are wonderful. We definitely wouldn't be anywhere without them. You yourself included, of course, and everybody who makes any of these events, any of these events possible. I mean, I've been a part of very, very many events, so I understand how difficult, time-consuming, how much effort has to be put in. So, nothing but absolute respect coming from my end.
Yeah, I mean, again, I can't take all of the credit at this point. Apparently, my mic was cutting out, so sorry about that. That's fixed. Again, technical issues absolutely everywhere today. But yeah, I can't take all the credit as the Granblue scene has been nothing but amazing at this point. but it's definitely been nothing but a pleasure, in honesty. We've had pretty much no drama for the entirety of EU Granblue, which is definitely not the case for a lot of other communities. So it's genuinely been a pleasure, and I've never been left wanting from the EU Granblue community. A lot of people say that being a TO is a thankless job, but I haven't felt that way because you guys have been, again, nothing but receptive and appreciative for all the work that I've been putting in. So, again, if I'm going to do anything, it's going to be to shout out the EU Granblue scene for making this such a pleasure to do. Never really felt like a chore, apart from when I was trying to basically manage the entirety of the European Granblue scene. That was a bit too much. But speaking of, if anyone's interested in having any other events promoted on stream or in the server, just hit me up, and I'll always be happy to collaborate with anyone or promote anything to do with Granblue at large, but European Granblue specifically. I'm in a pretty good position to help you out. But with that said, Zaji appears to be getting a bit of a beating from Zavid so far, getting that JD, getting the nice confirmed. We've got a hypo as well.
Now, what I've noticed about Zoe as a character is that she feels incredibly kind of hot and cold. If she's got the momentum, if she's got you pinned down, she's able to set up her dragons. It definitely seems like she can manage complete control, and she's utterly terrifying. But once she gets opened up, she definitely struggles with having that invincible reversal. Not having the fastest far normals, for instance. Of course, she has that fantastic 2M, but when the switch is flipped and Barry gets the opening, then of course they can take that round.
Yeah, not only that, I feel like it's a real bummer that Zoe's dragon works in the way it does. It's already very... Wow, speaking of, for a second we're about to see an absolute runaway of a round.
Yeah.
Zavid is looking incredibly solid. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Obviously, Zoe is going to be a very good offensive character. She also happens to have phenomenal buttons, which help her out in neutral, but a lot of her neutral plan, especially in matchups like this, will revolve quite heavily around the use of her dragon. And where that becomes real punishing is every time you're knocked down as Zoe, that does chip away from your dragon meter if the dragon is currently out. So you have to be really intentional on when you call it out. And if you get VP'd like that whilst your dragon's out, it could really summon the end of your offense, because you'll have to find a spot to run your offense, and you'll have to find a spot to charge up that dragon.
And of course, in corner scenarios like that, just what exactly is Zoe meant to do against Ferry just pressing her massive buttons? I mean, Zoe herself, as you mentioned, has fantastic normals, but just struggle there.
I think that Zoe actually has some particularly good tools in Air Lightning and her dive kick to be able to try and get out of those corner situations, but the thing is about Ferry, this is against Ferry specifically, because Ferry's anti-air options are very committal. She basically has to preemptively throw a DP, or get a really, she has to be really positioned quite far back to get her 2H. But it doesn't mean that it's any less risky. Trying to get yourself out of that corner could result in you right back in there, and again with less dragon meter to speak of. And getting hit with no DP against a character like Ferry that is going to put you underneath GG, definitely not a nice time. Oh, speaking of, not a nice time, this is dead. Zaji coming in with the install optimals, yeah. Love to see it.
Yeah, if there's one thing that I know about Zaji, he is very, very optimal in terms of those Ferry punishes. Very clear that he spent a lot of time playing this character. Already got the anti-air right there.
Beautiful stuff. Going for the drill. Guy's plus frames now because of the Sue hits. I'm a big fan. But there we go. Nice. Doing the empty jump. Gets a safe jump, and now it's offense time. Gets the low. Doesn't manage to pick up the combo. Unfortunate, but you still have a lot of pressure going. That's plus frames.
I think he didn't have faith in the low there. He tried to go for the overhead right afterwards. And wasn't able to properly.
Yeah, there is a combo where you actually do go low into the overhead, and because of the dragon hitting twice, it does allow you to continue after that, which is pretty interesting. Obviously, Zoe received a bit of a touch to her combo utility, I believe in 1.31 or patch 2, which is a little bit unfortunate, but she's still got some real sauce. Oh, here we go. Install makes up, gets caught by the first low. Yeah, that's going to be it. Zaji running an absolute train on Zavid, but Zavid's offense looked so close to taking rounds on multiple occasions.
And that's just kind of the nature of this game as a whole. You know, that was a quick 2-0, but I feel like that score doesn't really give credit to just how close a lot of those rounds were. And that's just kind of the lightning fast pace of this game, and it's really cool to see just rounds over in a flash. Of course, you get the slower paced rounds as well. So just a great dynamic in terms of the overall gameplay from a spectator perspective.
All right, so but next up we have Neville versus Swepe. Neville used to take tons of Hearts of Blazings. I'm sure you'll remember because that was around about when you started joining the EU Granblue scene, I believe, was when Neville's reign of terror was well and truly upon us. But he's going to be going up against Swepe, who made top 8 as Charlotta last week. And just to remind everyone, if you hit top 8 or higher, you receive placement points in the overall season. So that's really where your money comes in.
May I ask real quick when the season finale is likely to be for Hearts of Blazing? So just keep in mind how many weeks the players have to accumulate points.
So this is week 1 and week 2. Well, we've had week 1, pardon. This is week 2, and then we have another 5 weeks ahead of this. So that is 10 weeks time in total because we're running them as bi-weeklies. And that means that towards the end of March, the middle end of March, that's when we're going to be seeing the Hearts of Blazing Season 2 finale.
Okay. So yeah, definitely every event counts.
Yeah,
Gotta get those
definitely.
points wherever you can.
Especially because there's no slouches in EU Granblue. There really isn't.
Versus Jita.
Like, every single bracket that you're looking at, entering into at this point, is going to be absolutely stacked. We're seeing a lot of names missing from certain events, like, for example, last week, we didn't see Peter. This week, we're not seeing Citizen. We're never seeing Venom at the moment, because his ISP has saved us from the ultimate bubs. We've still got an absolute slew of, less, well, I don't want to say lesser bubs, because that discredits them, because they are getting really nasty as well. But they're not quite Venom. At least they're not as proven as Venom is, taking out tournaments like Double KO, Gibbs Series. He really has probably one of the most seasoned and what's the word for it? He's got a lot of achievements in the European Granblue scene at the very least.
Yeah.
Pretty much a legend, but his ISP and his flat owner is not letting him have wide internet at the moment, which has resulted in the EU Granblue scene being saved from the clutches of bubs. Speaking of being safe from, though, safe jump coming out, but Jita used to be an absolute menace, but she's received quite hefty nerfs in Season 2, and as a Shadow player, you'll, be chief among people who understand how that feels.
Yeah, not being able to get those knockdowns off of the heavy fireballs in particular, that's, I can imagine for a character like Jita, very, 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 very critical. Very nice, gets the full corner combo into Skybound Arms.
So, it's worth mentioning that Jita basically never has safe Rackers anymore. They're always -6. Oh, living on a pixel! But what we saw there was delayed Wrecker, which is the way that Jita players have to play now in order to take a risk on the Wrecker to catch people trying to fuzzy mash out.
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff from Neville, though. Very close to not catching the win there, though. Living on a prayer. Ooh, universal overhead. Neville special. But again, seeing it! Commits all the way through, gets punished. Thank you. All of the changes that are being spoken about have just been elaborated. No knockdown on that EX Fireball resulted in him dropping the combo, or at least going for a reset. And then instantly afterwards, the -6 Wrecker getting punished. Doesn't look like it's going to end up mattering, though, as Neville is definitely running the show against Swepe right now.
Yeah. Swepe did take that first round, and he took it quite convincingly, so, definitely cannot count him out just yet, but...
Oh, yeah. You can't count anyone out in European Granblue brackets at this point. There's so many talented players, and Charlotta, more than any other character, can pretty much take that round back. Doesn't matter what HP he's at. That's why I was so shocked when he lived on literally a pixel. It's because that is not where you want to be against Charlotta. He gets one hit into the SSBA, which is an absolutely absurd amount of damage, and then all of a sudden you're one command throw away from dying.
I'm really liking the Veer's just quick responses to the Demo Flip, just going for that DP just to prevent it from happening, relieve that immediate pressure.
Nice, gets the frame trap. Swepe's offense looking very solid right now, gets off the frame trap again. Stagger that 2L. And Charlotte's 2L, considering that she's a little gremlin, is surprisingly huge. She can get, I think it's 3 or 4 of them on block. Oh, there we go, interrupting with the 2L as well. Swepe feeling very confident right now. And again, that wasn't a reaction, that's Neville on the trigger, getting ready to read it. And that's going to be the round.
Wow,
No way, yeah. The damage is absolutely chunky.
Yeah, there's a nice, that's the close heavy, isn't it? There's a nice vertical hitbox on that, just to kind of, almost like a pseudo anti-air in those situations.
Shoto close heavies are definitely nothing to be gawped at. I mean, their far heavies are usually pretty great anti-airs as well. Ooh, wow, crushes it with a 2H. Not something you see every day. Nice, goes to the reset on hit, and so they're going for the EX Blankable, wants to keep those cooldowns available. But Neville, again, never afraid to use that EXDP, taking his turn back, and I think that's really what we're missing from Swepe's gameplay at the moment. He isn't taking as many risks on defense, more so going for risks on his own offense or in neutral, trying to get those crushed buttons. Oh, didn't confirm into super, that could have been it, but now we're at chip point, so it could be over momentarily, yes! Delayed option beating out the anti-air attempt. But if that anti-air attempt had hit, that would have been, again, a ridiculous amount of damage, maybe even the round.
Yeah, would have been quite the turnaround.
Nice. Using that jump arc to safely jump over those fireballs, which again have more recovery now. But it doesn't matter. Neville still manages to find his way. Nice challenge from Swepe, but you're still in that corner, and that's where Charlotta really struggles, and where I think you should just step back. Is she can't really escape the corner, because she has two things she can try and do. Demon Flip, which is 2H or DP every time, or she can jump forwards, which is the shallowest horizontal jump arc in the game. So as long as you take one step back to a comfortable range for a character like Cheetah, you'll be absolutely fine. We're seeing a lot of full commitment, to the EX Rekka from Neville at the moment, and it's been punished, I believe, 2 out of 3 times. Nice, there we go. Instantly seeing the adjustment from Neville. This is looking very close. Swepe, obviously, fighting for his life right now. Brilliant use of his pokes. No, no!
Wow!
What? The interesting SBA confirm coming out. That didn't look quite right on my end, but you know what? We take those. Neville moving on forwards.
It really just came down to belief in their hit confirms right at the end right there. Of course, Swepe got that far medium, but he wasn't able to reactively confirm it into the Skybound art, but Neville just knew. He knew that he was going to get that hit, and he converted beautifully into that Skybound art.
I mean, he definitely has a hair trigger, but a lot of the time these days he is confirming correctly. It was unfortunate that we saw the drop on... Well, I'm not even sure if it was a drop or if it was some sort of setup into 2U earlier with the Fireball, but aside from that, his gameplay was really tight there. So next up is going to be winners quarters, so we will be just moments away from top 8. And we're going to go over to the top end of the bracket, which looks like it's going to be the winner of Sombang versus Godlash Thunder against Dizzy, and then Brickster versus Trikiza. So the top end of our top 8 is a lot, and I mean a lot, of Loain.
Yeah. Both top sides of winners quarters having Loain.
It's definitely going to be interesting. I mean, I love Loain. I'm pretty biased towards him. I've had Loain players dripping poison into my ears for months. Yeah, in Brickster, funnily enough. Brickster and Padu. It was Brickster up against, it was Giza.
I think the interesting thing is the fact that both winners' quarters could potentially be Loain versus Narmaya on both sides.
Oh, yeah. No, that's very possible. Interesting. We're basically going to see two sides of a different coin. Wow, a very similar coin, actually. Dizzy versus TBD. And they are absolutely blitzing through this bracket, though. The fact that we're already at winners' quarters. Granblue players know what they're doing. They know how to look after themselves. I'm having to rush just to keep up. But we're having no shortage of good matches. I'm really kind of upset to see that we had Mr. Powell losing to Dizzy a second ago, and we didn't get to catch that match, because Loain versus Patera is a really fun matchup. Gonna go down to losers and see if we have any notable players down there. Oh, we do. We have quite a few, of course. If there are so many good players, someone has to get knocked down. We have Myth, Margin, Flo, Jundo, Mr. Pow, Zavid, of course, Swepe, Vivier. Wow, there is a Miri as well. We have a lot of really solid... Wait, and Svampen. I know that Cynical is not going to be happy after this tournament because his matches were God Flash straight into Svampen.
Oof.
Not an easy run.
Yeah, it's looking like a shark tank down there in losers already.
I mean, who expects to run into Svampen in losers, like, pretty much immediately? Alright, so we're just waiting on Rixer to hop into the lobby before to get ourselves started. If you had to put a bet on it at the moment, looking at the bracket, who would you say is posed to take this one? We've got all of our quarterfinal matches pretty much ready, other than Sunbang versus Godflash Thunder.
Ooh.
Oh, is it?
I'm actually gonna go for Peter. I'm gonna go for Peter.
Yeah, I think that's a really good bet. Peter wasn't here last week, and we saw Svampen versus Rixer in the grand finals. But now that he is here, and he's on Lance, and Lance is an absolute menace this match. He's always been a menace. It's the start of the game, he's been a menace. And at this point, I'm in a complete state of acceptance. I'm happy with it. You know what? He can be top 1, that's fine.
Yeah, it's I personally haven't seen Peter play in a while. That's just me personally, but I know of Peter's ability. I know how good he is, and I know how well he did in the previous season. And obviously, with Lance being as good as he is, it's just the combination of both the character and the player. I've got a lot of faith in him doing exceptionally well.
Here we go.
But honestly,
are we going to see Bass?
So many times.
I know I was mentioning that he was playing... Nah, I know that we were mentioning that he was playing Yule earlier. I was trying not to jinx it, because he's also been playing a lot of Vasaraga lately. And Vasaraga is probably the most underrepresented character in all of Europe right now. And this character is no joke. And pretty much every knockdown now, he can get armor into a safe jab to start up his offense. And when he gets going, Vasaraga is an absolute menace. Obviously, some characters still have pretty good tools to deal with his armor, etc. But if you don't have those tools, and you haven't labbed the matchup, there is a good chance you go 0-2 on the spot.
He is very scary when you don't quite know how to deal with him. Just that offense is a lot more terrifying than you think it is, and his damage output off of his
that's the risk reward, honestly.
Yeah,
I mean, he has anti-air scoop. The air is not a safe place against Vasaraga, but speaking of not a safe place, the corner against Narmaya. Narmaya swatting some of the best pressure in the game. Really good run startup, really good walk speed, really good throw range, and a lot of buttons to enforce plus frames.
Yeah, that 2M. Wow! That flop on block. Wow, very nice into the skybound art. Is that going to do it?
Yeah, I mean, specifically, you have to remember that he did far heavy there. Confirmed it on hit into command dash into the super. Otherwise, it wouldn't have got that close animation, and we wouldn't have been seeing the end of the round. And there we go! Using the command dash into the light slash button. Instantly getting rid of that goon. Not giving Rixer this time of day to get these summons started. One of the best things about Luane, realistically, is his backdash. It's incredibly fast and can allow him to get out of dodge and use a summon to start up some full screen offense practically. And seeing someone actually keep that in check is really, really good. Whoa! Forward rolls out of the universal overhead. Oh, okay. Ends up getting hit crouching by that close slight, which, you know, it's far light as well for Namaya. And as a result, the throw whiffs. Nice. Going for the spot dodge, trying to bait out that DP. I love watching Luane's play, man. It's just the Yule. Wow, Yule in my head. It's so active. They're always doing something. Ooh, is this going to kill?
Get some flashes.
Oh no, Varun. Oh no.
That is it. Oh my goodness. And I know those EX slashes, they were changed in Season 2, right? They were made less safe. I think they're like -7 on block now. So
I don't know if the frame data was changed, but I do know the spacing was changed.
Because I know quite a few characters can punish them with like far lights and stuff.
Pre-patch, I believe it was only Zeta, but now I believe a lot of characters with better far light scan, yeah? Ooh, using the EX parry on the Maya. I don't see that every day. Oh, okay, so it is -7 now, as well as the pushback being addressed, which means that, yeah, a lot of characters will be able to punish that with their highlights. Some might even be able to get something more, depending on how favored your character is in the Granblue meta.
Yeah, if you've got that long range frame 7 2M, for instance.
Yeah, or 2Us, etc. There's a lot of characters with a lot of varied frame data in this game, which is really cool, because obviously this game doesn't have that much depth to it. but characters are very unique in their own ways, but in less direct ways than their kits being, for example, really deep. Which leads to a pretty nuanced game that I really enjoy. There we go. Seeing the sweep coming out from low lane. Probably one of the best sweeps in the game, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, definitely. Just the amount of space that it covers, and of course the way that he sets up stuff up and knock. Oh! Forward them back on the slashes. Here comes Ziggy.
See if Trackgeezer's ready. Because whilst Ziggy in itself, you can lab the options. But at the end of the day, it's a significant amount of chip. 1,000 damage worth of chip every single time you block lightning. And that pressure adds up until you eventually make a mistake. But Trackgeezer going for the blast frames, goes for the throw. And instantly. No, damn. You gotta watch your toes against the Wayne. That's one of the changes that people don't really mention that much. But now, when your back is to the corner, those goons come out so fast. It's like an almost instant low. Ooh, back throws.
It feels like both of these players are making really, really good decisions in terms of their throws. Earlier on, we saw Trackgeezer go for the double throw against the parry from Richter. Now, of course, the offense started the full corner combo coming out from... Oh, no, not quite. I think
nice.
the cooldowns prevented that.
Oh, okay. Unlucky. Might not have had the cooldown to be able to cancel out of that command dash. He didn't. Okay, well, either way, I've got to say, though, that we're seeing a lot of prediction throw teching coming out here. Obviously, they have adjusted the throw tech OSs that we've had in the game before quite heavily. So now we're seeing a lot more predict throw techs, which is, I don't know, I'm surprised we're not seeing more universal overhead counter hits in general in Season 2, because towards the end of Season 1 in 1.31 and HAB, the end of our HAB Season 1, we were seeing so much of it. Players like Neville basically won entire tournaments off of it.
Oh, good combination of food, healed quite a bit right there. And of course the HBA is here and gets caught by the low. That'll be the round going to Richter.
Gotta watch your toes. The second, and that's the thing, you don't just have to watch your toes, you have to watch your head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Yeah.
You never get a second to really worry about anything other than getting your ass in there against the Wayne. But again, he weirdly is one of the better characters in the game at zoning now. He has really good tools to run away. Nice, and there we go, the universal overhead counter hit that we were talking about earlier. In the previous patch, everyone would have just OS'd it. Not this patch, you gotta hold that, you gotta guess.
It's a throw as well.
Oh, nice. Got dodger successfully, getting out of that unblockable setup. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was definitely in that universal overhead from Richter was definitely in response to a potential tick throw coming out from Trackgeezer, but Trackgeezer didn't bite.
No, instead predicting the throw tech and going for a jumping combo. Got a really interesting situation after it though. Maybe
very well timed throw there, but this is a very tough situation to avoid.
Oh, yeah.
All of this, and the first hit alone was enough.
I mean, you might as well get it over and done with nice and quick. No point in wasting an extra 10 seconds. Oh, okay. Nice. Swift punishes with the 236H. And now it's Trackgeezer's turn. Using the EXDP cooldown, not having the access to the other stances at that time to continue the combo, and there we go. Continuing the offense, and all of a sudden, this is looking like a 7 golden letters game. Oh no! Again, you gotta watch your toes. Those boys coming in so
really do come out for us.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't block it. There's no chance. Nice, being nice and patient, trying to get the high reward, baiting those DPs. They are easier to punish now as they all have extra recovery, and doesn't end up getting a meaningful confirm from that. The Exhaustion Source was on cooldown.
Right, the way Richter has reached that 100. Iggy in the corner.
Bends it for the safe cancel into Iggy. A understanding that Trackgeezer has not been dealing with this all that well up until this point, and there you go. Lands on the orb, unblockable setup. There we go. Richter special, honestly. If there's a single player in Europe that uses the Iggy well, it's going to be Richter. I mean, he gets to the point where he genuinely will be half HP against someone and will just sit holding down back in the corner, not caring about anything that you do. Just saying, yeah, get me down to Yigi range so I can finish this off. Richter's Yigi is definitely an absolute treat. But that was very close. Trackgeezer putting up an incredible fight. Richter obviously making top 2 last tournament. But Trackgeezer, his Narmaya is getting really, really nice. I'm not going to lie. He's one of the main reasons that I think Narmaya is as good as she is this patch.
Yeah, I've definitely seen. It's always quite fun to see. Just a lot of people seem to have pretty high hopes overall for Narmaya, except for some of the Narmaya mains themselves.
Yeah, we're not
I
saying any names, but
know.
we all
I
know.
know. I know. At least Godflash thinks very highly of Narmaya. Definitely thinks the character is good.
I think
but,
a lot of Narmaya players do. It's just a vocal
Yeah.
minority that would make people think otherwise. Next up, we do have Godflash Thunder versus Dizzy, though, so we're going to be continuing the Narmaya versus Loane train. But this should be another interesting one, because I feel like both of the character representatives are the old best representatives in Europe. Like, I would easily say that Dizzy was the best Loane in Europe, and that Godflash was the best Narmaya in Europe, but now I feel like they've got some people contending their crown. Specifically the people that we just saw playing, but there are others as well.
Yeah. It's always so cool to see just various players gradually leveling up, and various characters just kind of being represented in different ways, because obviously as you approach those higher levels of gameplay, the different sort of play styles and the different identities of the players really begins to shine through. And I always love to see that, particularly at a high level of well, pretty much any fighting game, but for this one in particular, I think it's just
I think it really helps to
Mm.
serve to elaborate that notion at the very least, because again, there's not that much depth, not much complexity, pardon, to Granblue Fantasy Versus, but there's a hell of a lot of depth because it's just really focusing in on the fundamentals of a fighting game, which comes down a lot to player matchups, conditioning, all of this sort of stuff that is, in my opinion, the most interesting thing about fighting games, which is why I love Granblue so much. It's like a nice mirror that gets to show you exactly what you want to see in the player's habits.
Yeah.
But another thing that I want to mention is that Europe is the region to develop characters. We take characters that every other region has been saying is weak from day one, like Zeta, Narmaya, etc. And we are very convinced for a very long time that they are not bad. In fact, they are very, very solid characters. Obviously, we've had some moments of being wrong. Everyone does. But at least we haven't said that Grand's bottom 5. Looking at you, Japan. Just to quickly mention, Godflash is currently helping out with a connection test, as he is also a tournament administrator on Hearts of Blazing, so if you could give him just a moment, he'll be in the match shortly. And what flag is Peter? That is the... Oh, damn. I have to look it up real quick, because I know that I've been told a million places where Peter's from, but he gave me a flag that I wasn't expecting, because I had heard it from other people that he came from somewhere else. And I'm really bad at geography, so I don't want to say the wrong thing. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he is from the Czech Republic, but I was told once that he was from Poland for whatever reason. But yeah, I believe this is the Czech Republic.
Yes.
And there you go, Afro confirming for me. Thank you very much. Neville going over here. Wait, what's going on in this bracket?
Ooh.
Peter in losers, Svampen versus Miri, Zeta on Zeta. Violence going on. One of them has to go out of the bracket. Trakiza in losers, Reika, Sombang, Arafu, Jundo. One of them, Silver NT or Necron. Like, losers is not a nice place to be right now. I'm genuinely kind of scared. I'm thinking of what it would be like if I was in this tournament right now.
Trying to ruin my initial prediction already. I
was right there with you.
I'm relatively new to this. I'm trying to create some kind of informed decision. You make me look bad already.
Trying to flex that knowledge. And obviously, I was literally right there with you. I was personally hedging my bets that Peter would have won last week if he had entered. But seeing him and Svampen down on losers already is very shocking, because it means at least one of them isn't coming back up.
Yeah.
Alright, we have Dizzy waiting in the lobby. We're just waiting on Godflash to quickly come back. I wonder who he's connection testing. I don't think I should probably look into. It'll be Rick, so let's go. Alright, I mean, if it's not going to be Peter, I will go right on with you. Gotta back up the UK Loanes, man. And he was so close to beating Svampen. But Svampen, as ever, king of making those reverse sweeps.
Yeah, I remember I was tuned in at the end of last week, and I saw that Rix was up 2-0, and it was like it was like he was up around as well, I think, and I was like, okay, Rix is probably going to win. And then I checked the bracket, and Zvampin was the one that won. I was like, wait, what? He ran that all the way back?
Yeah, I don't think many people would have put their money on it, simply because Lewayne is a character that you can be doing really well. You can be feeling on the top of the planet, but the second you make one mistake, that can cost you the entire round. But Zvampin keeping his cool, managing to do a comeback. Obviously, Zedda's no slouch either. I'm not gonna act as if she isn't. I'm not one of the Zedda down players, even though I did used to play the character. But if there's anything that needs to be attested to right now, it's Zvampin's ability to stay cool. I've heard from so many players at top level that playing against him is like an entirely different game, and it's not just because of Zedda, it's because of his uncanny ability to make the right call, especially in mashing situations.
Yeah.
Yeah, to clarify for them.
Definitely a rare trait to see, just people that are very good in their active defense. It's one of those really frustrating things to fight against as well. It's like, I feel like I'm doing a good job with my pressure here. Why do they always press the right button at the right time to just stuff me?
Yeah.
And then you just begin to crumble overall, because not only is your offense not working, if they're constantly opening you up, your defense isn't working either, and it's just like, how do I win? How do I play? What do I do? And you just feel very helpless.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about this game in general, is that because it's relatively non-complex, and the characters are relatively close together in strength, at least now, it can feel like you are trying to climb a literal mountain, playing someone who is only inches better than you. Because it's a game that's very honest in a lot of ways. I don't know, people will laugh about that, but it is a game that is very honest. So I would go 0-100 against someone, and then after a week of practicing, it would be 10-10. After a week more of practicing, I could 0-100 that person, 100 to 0 that person. And that is the game of inches that you are playing in Granblue. It's really, really comforting and reassuring when you're in that learning process, but it's also very easy to get a little bit dissuaded and, a little bit down on yourself if you're, repeatedly losing to some of the ridiculously good players that we have in Europe at this point.
Yeah, the overall level of the player base for this game definitely seems high, and it's definitely intimidating when you're starting out, because you may not even realize just how much further you are from these players. You're probably not as far as you think you are, but when you're losing all the time and you're losing that badly, it just feels very, very bad. But honestly, it's if there's a message that I have to people, and I'm saying this as somebody who still gets his ass kicked a lot, just keep playing. If you have fun, just keep playing.
It is important, though, to mention that try to have fun with it, because the most important thing is the learning process, and if you're not enjoying that, try switching it up a little bit, because that's the thing about fighting games, right, is that all of the improvement is completely reliant on yourself. You can't rely on anyone else. It's you who's, at the end of the day, has got to sit there and play the game, realize your mistakes in a productive way, and then adjust them. So it's not an easy process, but it's incredibly rewarding, especially in a game like Granblue, where the community is relatively small, so you'll be playing against the same people in tournament pretty frequently, and it was so nice, at least for me, going from going 0-2 to 2-2 and 3-2 at one point. I went positive in one tournament, and you know what? That's my pride point. I then didn't play Granblue for 4 months, but we ignore that.
Don't worry, you were holding the scene on your back.
I was just a bit back, I'll be honest. But yeah, I'm back now. I've played a bit of CAG. I'm having a slight break at the moment because Final Fantasy XIV has ruined my life. I have been playing 14 hours a day of that game, and I need to be stopped. I mean, it was enough that I didn't even mess around with Yule at the start. I'm going to start after this tournament, around about tomorrow, next week. I'm going to play some Granblue, going to play some Dragon Ball, and have a good time. But Final Fantasy XIV definitely is risky. Ooh, damn, I love Narmaya combos, man.
Yeah, the overall pace of that round just completely shifted, because Godflash, I feel like, is a player who's very good at adapting to the pace of their opponent. They took the first round to just kind of get a feel, and now just kind of ramped it up to just not give Dizzy that breathing room. But let's see how Dizzy's able to respond.
Oh, nice, good check. Love to see it. And that's what I mean, it's small stuff like that that feels really satisfying to me, at least, watching Granblue. Like, we might not have some of the flashy combos that you see in games like Guilty Gear. Well, a lot of the time we're playing with a couple of the characters that happen to have some of the most ults in the game. But when you see like a nice dash check, man, that's what gets me going in this game. And yeah, everyone's getting a little bit confused. No, this is a different match. This is Godflash versus Dizzy this time. Again, two phenomenal players playing the same characters in very different ways, though, which is, again, something that I love about Granblue. Two players playing the same character will look entirely different at top level. You can tell just by their combos alone, usually, or their confirms, or how they like to approach certain matchups, exactly who it is, like, pretty much instantly. And that's really, really cozy. I love it.
That was a very, very clean confirm to end the round right there. Godflash taking it 1-0 so far.
Couple of people
I was about to say
right?
we've seen significantly fewer throws comparative to the previous set, but
oh, speaking of neutral jump. Speaking of, they wanted to silence you real quick. Commentator curse coming in, but at the same time, this is what you want to be seeing from this matchup. Is a lot of throws and a lot of working around that universal overhead, trying to get that punish in. But here comes guaranteed HPA, and you gotta guess gets hit by the first low, and that's it. HPA is reactable, guys. It's reactable. Yeah. Say that once you're 10 HP against a strong low-aim player. You gotta block absolutely everything in your life.
That's always that thing with Wayne. It's like, oh, he doesn't get that guaranteed damage off the Skybound art to end the round, but in that situation versus HPA, like 9 out of 10 times, or maybe even like 99 out of 100 times, he's probably gonna win the round right there. Very difficult.
Low aim down players coming in. It's reactable. I called it, man.
12 down back.
Wow, interesting combo. Every 6H into 2M. Is that gonna be the round? It is. Match point.
So if Godflash wins here, we once again get Numpire versus Luane. This time we win the semis.
Oh, okay. Double clash cancel.
Provided Godflash wins.
Yeah. Beautiful. Now Maya having one of the better firelights in the game for that situation at 5 frames. Oh, okay. I love it. The fake moonsault setup.
There's the overhead immediately, and then the slide.
Godflash getting caught by these lows at this point. It's not easy splitting to block, especially under pressure, but you definitely got to. Never mind.
2-3-6, and that is going to be the round. Good stuff to Godflash.
Really solid. Having a little bit of trouble against HPA, but bring it back nonetheless with his ridiculous confirms. Love to see it. It's been a while since I've seen Godflash play as well, so I'm pretty excited to be able to see him in the bracket again.
Yeah, already up to our winners semis. This has just been flying by. An hour in and winners semis on both sides.
Righty.
Losers seem to be progressing pretty nicely as well.
Yeah, which is nice because we're going to be heading over there. Well, pretty much now. But it's a very interesting losers side. It's something that I've not had to see in a very long time. But losers top 8 is looking like we're going to have first match, Trikiza versus Miri, as Miri actually ended up knocking out Svampen. Second match, Breaker Sombang. Then Peter versus one of Silver NT and Jundo. And then Dizzy versus the winner of Arafu against Zavid or Pastike. Which I am going to quickly let you guys know that we are moving up to winners semis, which means we are now in top 8 territory. And our top 8 players so far are Godflash, Thunder, Rixter, Neville, and Zaji.
So all 4 of these players obviously qualifying, and well, not qualifying, but getting their points towards the season finale.
Yeah, quite a big deal as we are raising a ridiculous amount of money. So on that note, I would like to take a moment to shill Matcherino. If you have not already, be sure to use the code HAB Season 2 GB2 to donate 50 cents to the season finale, prize pool, I guess.
It's free.
Absolutely free. Yeah, it's free. You have a Twitch account. I can see you in that Twitch. I can see you. So be sure to go and drop that 50 cents in the bracket. We are now reaching over $170. So, EU Granblue represent. I want to see us get that to 200 and 250 over the next coming weeks. I'm not gonna lie. I might have to do a little something to make that happen. Breaker asking if losers top 8 can play. Just to clarify, no. Again, as usual, all the top 8 is always streamed. So we are going to be streaming losers round 5 effectively. But we are going to be starting off with Neville versus Zaji. Wait, what? Oh, I missed it. Wait.
Oh, is there a problem?
Yeah. Basically, the bracket was screwed up. There was a little extra round at the end, yeah, mislabeled. Because basically, more people joined after the bracket was labeled, so it pushed everything along a little bit. So feel free to continue if you are in Losers Round 5, as that is not Losers Top 8. It was a bit weird that we were getting that close already.
Yeah, so everything should be shifted along around.
Doing that right now. Which, you know, it's a nice surprise that we're ending up having technical issues purely on the basis that there are too many people entering EU Granblue. But you never catch me complaining about that. It's really funny because this is kind of like feeling akin to old EU Granblue. Back when we used to have 64-man brackets in HAB and Gibbs events. Those were great times. But yes, first up we're going to try and get Neville versus Zaji in here. So next up. So looking at this bracket, I am now not even sure how to call this one, because we're going to be seeing Peter going up against probably Jundo or Silver NT, and then after that it's Breaker Sunbang, but eventually he's going to have to go against Strikeza, who is on an absolute roll at the moment. Apparently taking out Miri as well.
Ooh.
So, I mean, he's making a very quick run through losers. Both of the infamous setup players, Miri and Sampan, getting knocked out relatively early. Then again, I think Sampan could have been playing Soris. That actually could make sense.
Ooh.
Which I would have loved to see, actually.
Yeah. Sora is definitely a very cool character to watch. Sora is definitely one of those where he's one of the ones that's consistently seen as relatively low down, but at the same time, if a character like Sora is right near the bottom in terms of the roster strength, I think that kind of bodes well for the roster as a whole. Just the overall strength and viability of the roster. If someone like Sora in his current state is among the weaker characters in the game.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if the weakest characters this game has to offer are among characters like Soris and sorry, it's tomorrow. Sorry, but this is the large consensus is that characters like Cagliostro and Soris and Matera are the weaker characters in the game. Characters like Jita are often mentioned down there as well, and Luane in Japan. But if characters like that are what make up the bottom tier, then I'd say the game's in a pretty damn good spot. And yeah, Gran in Japan, I did forget about that. Gran in Japan. I don't know, Gran in Japan's probably way back up now after they reverted M-Boot and gave him that 5U charge as well. It's absolutely absurd. Have you seen how quickly that charges now?
Yeah, it's nuts.
Oh, nice! Punishes the button with the 2U. Good matchup knowledge. Oh, nice, okay. Using the hoop. Here, trying to run all the way in, using the pot dodge, trying to bait out the DP, but as ever, Zaji at the ready. Catches, well, checks the forward dash there with the medium whip. Beautiful stuff so far, and there we go. Zaji combo. Gets the GG set up into the install. What's the mix? Run up, goes low.
Ooh.
Ooh, misses the confirm. Not sure if that was a confirm attempt or Trying to catch it. Yeah, I reset there. Oh, wow.
Wow, big bold jump in right there.
Ash super jumps out of the corner, lands a really delayed JU. And now all of a sudden, this is looking very winnable for Neville. One touch will do it. Oh,
wow, never mind. That's that low health of Ferry coming through right there.
Jesus Christ. Excuse me? That kill? What? I mean, Ferry's health is low, but I don't think I've ever seen a kill situation like that. Holy hell. Good shit, Neville. Ah, there we go. Ferry actually ends up getting a punish, but she can't confirm into anything from that situation. Low tier, by the way. Oh, nice. EP is calling out the hoop this time. And then spot dodges into the 2M. That should be the round. Neville. Effectively, I'm gonna say it, robbing his way to the win in that round. I love that. I mean, the damage in this game still surprises me, and I've been watching since the start.
Yeah.
Christ
Crazy
alive.
momentum. What a crazy momentum swing. Ever since that jump you from the first round, it was just all Neville from that point onwards. And
yeah, I mean,
finally took back in the door, but that was nuts.
It was a blow to both Ferry's health and mental health. Losing half HP to that jump in must have put a tear in Zaji's eye.
There's VP.
Nice, gets the throw. Again, no matter what happens, GW will always have one of the better throw games in the game, and there you go. Decking him with that EX Wrecker, getting a significant amount of damage, and then just going back to the throw game. Not very much Ferry can do in situations like this, not having access to very good Abares, but that's a new tool that she's got given this batch. Well, not this batch now, it's the previous batch. Moving along pretty quick. Yeah, that new drill is so nice. Makes me actually really want to play Ferry. But you can't catch me playing Ferry, it's too hard. My mental could not take it.
Excellent decision right there by Neville, opting for the rollout just to avoid all that pressure and then just finding the confirm into Skybound out once again. Match point.
Neville is looking really, really good right now. Trying to go for that 2U to interrupt the button at round start from Ferry. You love to see it, being very active, but never taking too bad of a risk. Obviously, him being as active as he is being, Zaji is catching him quite a lot with that 236L. Which is to be expected of Zaji, he's no slouch either. Oh, nice, gets the counter hit, doesn't get a confirm off of it.
Yeah, very
only gets one hit of drill. Does it start? Does the momentum shift start? It's looking so good for Zaji. Uses the drill to get out of the corner. Oh, and again, checks him. Walking forward with that whip into the orb setup. What's Neville going to do? Tries to run forwards, and again, getting checked. Zaji at the ready. Can't get too sloppy versus Zaji.
Yep, Zaji still definitely got life. Very much alive in this set so far. Still at match point, but definitely finding his footing again.
Zaji doing a phenomenal job at adjusting to Neville, trying to just basically run forwards. Giving him a check quite well, but instantly we're seeing Neville responding in kind, forward rolling through those whips. Getting his offense started. It's ended up with him in the corner though, and that GG does not scale the combo, so this is going to hurt. Ooh, almost set up.
Yeah, that's always the thing that you've got to be careful of course, if you start opting for those rolls a little bit too often. She's
what a nasty instant overhead confirm. Man, very sick. Well, Zaji's sick. I really can do this.
That's a really, really terrifying thing about being in the corner versus Zaji's Ferry. You know, it's like, okay, I've blocked the low, but now I have to kind of keep in mind what else she's going to go for. You know, oh no, there's the instant overhead. Now I've been opened up.
Yeah, you don't have time for that sentence to go through your head. It's just, oh, GG. Oh, install. Oh, I'm dead. Oh. On to next, I guess.
Believe in victory. Battle 1. Engage.
Alright, but we're in a 1-1 position right now. Again, getting the checks on Neville, trying to approach nice and early in the round, but you'll notice that Neville really hasn't lost all that much HP for this endeavor, considering that he took 60% from Ferry in one hit during the first match. But it does add up. Zaji has now hit him like 5 times now, and make it 6. Getting an, oh, doesn't go for the setup actually. Goes for a delayed melee, but gets DP'd off by Neville. Ooh, trying to air throw him out. I respect it. It's pretty hard to anti-air drill Ferry has really great options to get out of the corner. Kind of similar to Lance. Both these characters were very pesky back in the day.
Yeah.
Having access to super jump, like, and then Vine Whip at RPS as well. And now Drill is even better than it used to be. Very hard to keep Ferry in the corner. And she has a DP. That's worth calling out as well.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, really delayed counter hit, yeah.
And another counter hit overhead, that's gonna be it!
Oh, the Neville special coming in hot. We are at match point again.
Take the throw. Take the throw.
The Neville classic coming in clutch. Let's see if we get another couple though. Because that's enough to put him to match point, but it is not enough to win him this set. Oh, nice. Good confirm. Getting him all the way to the corner. Now it's time for the throw game. Tagging him with a 2L. 2U. Not keeping track of your toes. Very obviously still having one of the best 2Us in the game. Yeah, and in general, I really love the fact that sweeps in this game are good. They're usually special cancelable. If they're not, they're really forward approaching. Obviously, you can cry if you're Matera, but aside from that, even if that's the worst sweep in the game, similarly, if that is the worst sweep in the game, the sweeps in this game are pretty good. As Matera just flies across the entire screen, taking out your legs. Ooh, whoa. Oh. Okay, that's gonna be it.
Yeah,
Zaji swiftly drilling himself into the losers bracket.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure that would have been an interesting misinput. He was probably trying to get like a free drill, but then ended up crossing up, so instead he went the other way.
I just think he wanted the forward drill just so that he could fly across and get out the corner instead. That happened. Yeah,
that is not what you want to see. But Neville did a phenomenal job up until that point. So I'm not that ashamed that he ended up getting that win. The next match that we're going to be seeing is a rematch, yet again, between a Narmaya and a Lowain, which is going to be Godflash Thunder versus Rickster, the two winners of the winners quarterfinals. Yeah, Zaji coming in the chat saying it's not a bug, he did fuck that up. But I'm really interested to see this one, because obviously we've seen already what Rickster and Godflash are made of, but seeing these two phenomenal players clash against each other should be really interesting. Especially because I feel like Godflash has always been a player that's a little bit more reserved, and that's a switch that you really need to have with Narmaya, being able to go from slow-paced into running your offense. But Rickster is probably the best player that I've ever seen in EU Granblue, adapting quickly, and a character like Lowain that can obviously enforce a lot of situations that make you have to guess is a really good fit for him, so I'm glad to see that he's able to play Lowain these days. So it's a bit of a shame we don't see his Ferry anymore. He was probably the best Ferry in Europe. Zaji was hot on his heels coming after his place, but we never get to see the finishing line to that particular chapter of EU Granblue as he's moved over to Lowain, which he was originally playing at the start of the game, so I'm glad to see him back playing, as Lowain is probably my favourite character. He's at least top 3 at this point. He's probably my favourite male character, I'll go that far.
Yeah, I know Rickster was saying that because he's a really big fan of the overall set play of Lowain, and because of the changes of for Ferry come season 2, just the playstyle of Lowain kind of meshed a lot better with him.
Oh wow, okay, taking the buster into the jump the throw. I will take a moment, as requested by Margin, to say that all of the Swedish community is right behind their boy right now. Godflash Thunder has a ton of support from me as well. He is probably, like, people, well, him in particular, like to call me the Granblue Jesus. But honestly, he does so much work, not just for the Swedish community, but for the community as a whole. He does these really interesting tournaments where when a character is released, it's a character-only tournament. Your only tournament was a couple of days ago, for example, with the LBA community. Other than that, they've run first to 5s and a round-robin format. They do a bunch of really interesting stuff, and the Swedish community is chief amongst the strongest in Granblue. So huge shout-outs to Godflash and everyone else who is involved in that. But as someone from the UK, I've got to represent my boy. If you guys are showing support for Godflash, I've got to show some support for Rickster. Getting a good start to this round, calling out the Catalina bot, getting the good guys, and gets the low into the awesome source. We're going to see another setup.
Very nice staggered lights right there. Again, like the fact that no awesome source afterwards.
Ooh, wow, whoa!
Straight on wake up, EX awesome source. Okay, crosses off with the roll.
That's a new one. And here we go. Look. Rickster has
down
such a
back.
huge, he has such a huge health lead that he doesn't care. You can throw him all the way down to Yugi range if you want. Walks him all the way to the corner, then safely puts him into chip point, parrying the DP. Beautiful stuff.
And even if that parry whiffed for whatever reason, even if Godflash was able to hard call out that parry, Rickster was still in a pretty good position overall. It's not like Godflash would have been able to get a ton of damage from that position. And even then, he still would have been at chip point.
Oh, okay.
Nice air to air right there.
And yeah, just to reiterate, the HP8 isn't actually punishable. So it is an RPS situation after you block that last hit. Oh, whoa. Interesting setup using the moonsault. And people, Narmaya players, we're not going to say any names, like to say that moonsault is a useless tool, but right there, we're seeing an interesting application of it. I won't say that any of the applications are, that real, but certainly as a combo tool, and for interesting setups like that, it's just something that you've always got to keep on the back of your mind, Is he going to moonsault off of this command dash to take back another turn? Oh, no, getting hit by rocks instantly. Now you cannot be hit a single time. Oh, he's gotten hit 3 times. How is he alive?
Okay, managed to get the run in.
Okay, it doesn't get the punish.
Get the punish though,
yeah.
And that's going to be it. Yep.
There's a single character in the game that can punish that. It's going to be Luane. That far medium is long. Rickster at match point. Unlucky. That was not what you want to see. Using the command dash for the midi setup there. Day 1 the Maya tech. Nice, solid pressure coming out so far using the EX parry. And you'll see right there, it recovers so quickly. A lot of people were very critical of that tool towards the start of the game, but especially against a character like Narmaya that will tend to use special cancels a lot in her pressure. It's really effective, beating out safe jump, special cancels, and obviously catching people when they're not available to cancel into their DPs or spot dodge. It's a good tool, it's just like there, right there. Beautiful example, beating out that safe jump. Ooh. Nice. Clash cancelling into the button. Doesn't go into super, which means that now you have to deal with Yigi again. And this did not go so well for you last time.
At the very least, this time Godflash is a lot more to work with.
Yeah, for sure. Using the command dash, trying to get into position for the punish, but it does not matter. He eats rocks. EX command dash is trying to go for the EX parry. This could be it.
Suddenly, this is a dead even game. Rickster with a slight lead after the food.
Command dash is now available again, so you cannot eat food as readily. Oh, okay, gets the knockdown. And the EX parry beating out the safe jump. You gotta watch yourself, man. Can't get away with that against Luane.
Yep, 2-0 to Rickster right there. We'll be moving on to winners finals.
So close. Though, it's so unfortunate because he was so close to getting the punish on that Yugi twice now. Being a little bit, just a tad overzealous on going for those punishes, and it got him killed. Not once, but twice.
So close.
But as the Swedish community are reminding us, he is down but not out. He is going down into the losers bracket where he will have to face against players such as Peter, Breaker, Dizzy, and Trikiza. Oh, and Silver NC. Never mind, my bad. That match is still going. Alright, so on that note, it means that we are going to be going down finally to our loser side of the bracket. This is losers top 8, which means that we have confirmed absolutely everyone other than Peter or Silver NC. One of them is going to be joining them. The rest of the players in top 8. But Trikiza, Dizzy, Breaker, Zaji, Neville, Rickster, and Godflash, they are our top 8 players.
So, we have another Narmaya Luane set in Dizzy Trikiza.
Is this a rematch?
No, because Dizzy fought Godflash before and Rickster fought Trikiza.
Oh my god, of course not. We've now seen every single way these matchups could be played. I like it though. I'm not gonna complain. This is the last top 8 we had a unique character in every single slot, but this means that we're at least going to have 2 Narmayas and 2 Luanes this time. So people can complain about character diversity. Everyone's saying, Belial's everywhere. Belial's everywhere. No, he's not. He's not even in top 8. There's Narmaya and Luane on the other hand, characters that back then you were calling low tier. We've got 2 of them each. Half of our bracket consists of them at this point. Alright, but Trikiza versus Dizzy. Germany against France. And if I had to call this match, it's going to be really hard, but I'm going to say Trikiza. I'm going to believe. We've seen too many Narmaya losses now. I'm ready to see Narmaya win.
Unless Trikiza throws a curveball at us.
Yeah, I mean...
You're
oh,
the bat.
true. His character pool is looking kind of deep right now.
Low way.
Keeping the dream alive. Dizzy? Nah, of course not.
Back to the Nam.
But you know what? His Namaya is a treat. And this is the beautiful thing about Granblue as well, is because we've been around since the start, HAB that is, I've been able to witness players in... I believe there are 3 major eras of Granblue, where new players have came in and turned into the top players, and, you know, other players have retired, etc. But we are pretty firmly in our 3rd era of EU Granblue. And players like Trikiza, who came around about the 2nd era of Granblue, that's when he started to really start to develop. But it's so great to see players like that go from relatively new and relatively, not amateur's the wrong word, but you know, not necessarily making top 8s all the time, to being a real threat to take HABs like very consistently. Players like Gumius, Trikiza, Nabia even. We've seen them develop so much over the past months that, I don't know, as a TO at least that's really rewarding. I've really enjoyed it.
Confirm off the counter anti-air. Here comes the HBA.
Oh, getting hit by the overhead, and again, we saw the Namaya. Oh, nice! React blocking it this time, but you didn't block the last one. Ooh, looks like the Namaya players are having problems with this HBA.
Battle 2.
There are like very specific, not necessarily OSs, but options that you can cycle versus HBA that we're not seeing at the moment. You can mash to delay his options because he gets stuck in block stun. For example, you can spot dodge, you can forward roll. There are a lot of things that you can do, but you have to know what you're doing, because if you don't, you're going to get opened up. And it's easy to remember that even if you know what you're doing, all it takes is one mistake or you to be a little bit flustered, which is the entire point of Luane, is to get you flustered, and you can get opened up by it.
Yeah, that element of human error, regardless of how good you are, regardless of how good you become, that element of human error is always going to be there.
For sure. And the characters like Luane that are specifically designed to pull at that thread are really interesting. I love that.
Oh, ready for the flame carpet.
Okay, I love this though. Trikiza approaches this very differently. He's a lot more willing to sit back and simply block HPA and Yigi than Godflash is. Godflash is always looking for that punish attempt to end out that round. Whereas Trikiza playing it a little bit more patiently, taking his time, and then getting the win afterwards. Oh, okay, getting hit with the low. The Granblue mix-up coming in with throw.
Jump out right there.
Gonna get it set up. Makes a really basic faker void. It's a throw. That's a little bit. Takes his time back again into the throw. Really good offense being cycled right here. Going for the boy into HBA. This is quite a lot of HP to get rid of.
Already.
Yeah, has to look for a clean hit on the low. Getting the spot dodge initially, showing signs of remembering what to do against HPA, but instantly getting hit by the second low. Is he 1-0?
Wasn't ready for that second low.
Victory. Battle 1. Engage.
Now, the one thing I will say is that it's a little bit rude that Dizzy is not exercising social distancing right now. He's getting all up in Trikiza's face and not giving him a second to breathe. Come on, boys. Gotta be more respectful. Rona times. Oh, okay, see, right there. Gimmicky EX command dash into EX moonsault. Taking those plus frames, but it's ended up with really quite a lot of scrambles, to be honest. No advantage going to either player so far. Oh, never mind.
Even odd decisions from that. The simultaneous jump.
Yeah. Into the beautiful confirm using that EX moonsault as a beautiful combo tool. And that's going to be the round.
Yes.
Rakiza putting himself on the board.
Trikiza's doing a really excellent job timing those spot dodges to avoid the parry follow-up a lot of the time.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Namaya it doesn't always have the ability to use the DP. A lot of times we'll be locked out of that, especially because Loanes will tend to try to go for parry when expecting a slash or a moonsault. Which means that obviously she will be locked out of the DP, so sort of dodge is going to be your best option. Here comes the boy. Ah, fakes the throw. Goes for the low, catches him, and now we're going to see a HBA set up.
There it is.
The undoing of the Namaya so far, getting hit by the overhead and it's going to continue. Oh dear, this is looking very scary. I mean, again, I don't want to be blocking that in a tournament point. This is why I sit in the commentary desk. Keep me away from the rampant low aim players everywhere. So true, Padu. So true. And yeah, that is a reality that we could very well see. Is a double away in final. Nice. HP 8. Okay. Dizzy's been loving the results from the HPA. Doesn't get the confirm there, and this one gets blocked in entirety. Rakiza, again, being very patient. This time, having quite a lot of health to play around with, though.
Definitely a real solid situation for Trikiza now. Not having to worry about any kind of Skybound art coming out, unless Dizzy is able to create some space and maybe get some back on the food, but unlikely that we're going to see a second Skybound art coming out.
They get the parry with EX Moonsault, and now he's looking like he's in a very good position. If there's any character in the game that will be able to get a second super, it's going to be Lowain. And he had the round there, but failed to cancel out of the command dash. And all of a sudden, we were looking very close to being sent into losers. No, out of the tournament, actually.
Yeah,
but
that was
hanging on.
That was that Hail Mary DP right at the end. Just bank it all right there. Didn't want Dizzy to build that extra momentum.
I mean, in fairness, you would panic if you dropped your game-winning, round evening confirm, and you have a DP available to you. Goddamn, you know that's the first thing I'm pressing. Forward heavy skill, instantly, no thoughts.
I play Percy, of course. Not a second of thought.
Nice, getting those sick throws. But getting back thrown into the corner, missing that setup. All of a sudden, this is looking very scary. We're going to be seeing another HBA setup, which has been the undoing of Trikiza.
Overhead first.
Oh no.
On slide this time I got hit. I lost.
Well, again, we got hit because we were trying to predict it, but there is technically, you can react to it, but Jesus Christ. I wouldn't want to be trying to react to that. Not right now. Oh, okay. EXDP getting rid of the guys, but does not hit Lowain himself. One of the fun things about Lowain, obviously, is that he can pressure without using his own body. As his goons, all of his summons are effectively projectiles.
Yeah.
Beautiful damage coming out. This round. Another SVA doesn't do the most damage. Yeah. One more touch.
Sliver.
Amaya has some really good ways to, generate frame traps and making him constantly have to worry about those safe specials. But Trikiza now evening this up. We're at absolute tournament point for one of these players. One of them is going out of this bracket. Back throw into the corner again. Okay, checking in with the trade.
Okay.
Interesting. Oh, okay, again, just checking the guy. No goons here. Ooh, and the frame trap into the 2U. Amaya has some beautiful pressure. Plus frames into the throw. Empty jump throw. Getting the frame trap, no confirm. This is looking pretty scary for Dizzy. Oh, okay, command dashes himself into the corner, and all of a sudden, never mind.
The double 2U.
Drop! That was huge. Here comes Iggy. This Iggy's gonna decide. Yeah, this is gonna decide it. He's again very patient. Are we gonna see an unblockable setup? We are. One more touch is gonna do it. There we go.
Yep. That's the time that spot dodge.
That's the issue of being patient. You get hit by an unblockable setup, and then all of a sudden you're underneath so much more pressure to block that final hit. It can feel like everything the Wind's doing at that point is an unblockable setup. Hit point against Iggy is not where you want to be. But next up, in some weird twist of fate, our first Losers Top 8 match, well, our first match featuring Peter, pardon, is a Losers Top 8 match, which is Peter against Breaker. And that's a match I'm really looking forward to seeing. I haven't seen Peter play in around about a month now, I guess. But it's always a pleasure seeing what the top tier of the game's doing these days. Righty. Yeah, then I know Peter's already here. And this is the nice thing about hitting top 8, right? Is that basically the tournament runs itself anymore. Don't need to call matches. They're already in there. I just need to tell them, yeah, good to go when you are. Yep. Our winners finals is Neville versus Richter. That's going to be our first top 3 match. Reminder that all top 3 matches are first to 3 as well. That's going to be an interesting one. And I'm more or less interested in that because it's like a callback to the, the first era of Granblue, leading to the second and third era of Granblue up in our winners finals. Neville has had a very interesting chapter in the Hearts of Blazing and EU Granblue, like, well, I guess, novel. But I'm really very happy with where he is these days. He's developed so much as a player. He's stuck with Jita, even though most players have, you know, obviously not done the same, which I have a lot of respect for. And at this point, he's just a very solid player. He has a lot of quirks and nuances, though, that make him very uniquely him, which is always very fun to watch. But playing against, playing against Luane never really gives you that much space to be yourself. You kind of got to play Luane's game.
Yeah.
Speaking of, both of these characters, Ferry and Lancelot, have both been considered top 1 in the past for their ability to turn you off of Granblue. All of a sudden we're playing Lancelot, or we're playing Ferry Blue versus. But to be honest, these characters have a lot of similarities, I've noticed. Both of them refuse to admit the corner exists. Both of them have ridiculously fast setups that are unreactable. Both of them have, I was going to say low health, but no, Lancelot has regular health. Why does this character have regular health?
That's an excellent question. I wish I could answer, but I don't know.
And both of them have been pretty much unanimously hated since their inception. That's the other key binding feature for the characters. Oh, they're also both phenomenal at zoning. Because for some reason, Lancelot's good at that.
I feel like we have to amend your previous statement, and it's like they both don't think that the corner exists, but only when they're the ones who put it in it.
Oh yeah,
if they're pinning you, then only the corner exists.
Yeah, very true. I mean, they refuse to admit the corner exists. When their backs to the corner, you're the one in the corner. But similarly, which is pretty frustrating, if your back is to the corner, all of a sudden you're not getting out of there. You're being set played to death, unless they happen to, you know, let you out by left-righting you in a game where left-rights don't exist, because, you know, why not?
Battle 1. Engage.
You don't want to rampage in that first game.
I mean, yeah, we're seeing a Lancelot versus Ferry match, and two of the best players in Europe at the moment. So, it's gonna be fast, no matter what happens. Okay, Jesus. I mean, speaking of fast, this round, we're only like a matter of 20 seconds in. And that's it.
Near over.
Yeah,
I
just
know
gotta
that
wait
they
for this
increased the
SBA.
damage on. Yeah, I know that they increased the damage of his Skybound Arts, but
Right, I thought it
not
would've.
enough.
Nice.
Chip.
Laying that second part of the Wrecker, and that again, really strong. Unless you're willing to commit to DP, which obviously you can just fuzzy mash DP in that scenario. But even if you get that, you've still got a hell of a long way to come back.
Yeah.
No easy feat. It's against Lance, who happens to be really good at finishing up chip points with the use of Wrecker. Really good Fireball, Gorilla Blade.
Excellent
Nice.
use of the switch right there. Even gets the side switch into the corner again. Finally, at least Breaker able to mash out right there. Not able to really punish that.
Low crushes with the 2U. And there it is.
Oh, that was
The left rights in a game where left rights don't exist. I hate that about Lance, because you know for a fact that I got hit by that. You got hit by that. The guard button exists, but we both got hit by that. I'm so bad at blocking the fake crossovers from Lancelot, Narmaya, all these characters.
I got hit because there was that moment where Peter waited. I would think that, oh, it's my turn, but it wasn't my turn because the fireball was still there.
Alright, well that was incredibly quick, but we're going to be moving on to Zaji versus Dizzy next, which should be a brilliant match. Both of these characters very prone to set play, but not having the best defense, especially against one another. Luane has some interesting interactions against Drill in particular, with his EX parry, which I hope we get to see. Because obviously not very many characters have very good answers to Drill, but his EX parry is actually surprisingly... Not even EX parry, you can do light and medium parry against Drill very effectively. So I hope we get to see a little bit of that. Righty. And this match is going to be Germany up against Russia. Zaji being one of the few Russian players that have pretty consistently good connections to the rest of Europe. Don't very often hear any complaints about Zaji's connections. It's always a pleasure to know that we're able to get matches from Western Europe all the way over to Russia without problems sometimes is pretty great. Obviously, it's no rollback netcode, but at the very least, Granblue doesn't have the worst delay base that I've ever seen. Especially coming back from playing other games like Guilty Gear and Dragon Ball. Feels like a breath of fresh air sometimes.
Oh, no, coming from Smash. No, that's a...
Oh, yeah. I forgot. You come from Smash
Ultimate
Ult.
Online. That is a hellscape. Don't do it. It's
I
not
haven't.
enjoyable.
I don't plan on doing it.
Excellent. You're a smart person. I'm not. I've Sephiroth brought me back in, and it's been a fun time, but also having to deal with that netcode is not the best.
I mean, I can't even begin to imagine. Apparently, it's something stupid like 12 frames of native delay.
Yeah. So because of the nature of the Switch and just with the way that the game's built, there's an inherent 7 frames of delay in the game minimum, and then online is a minimum of an additional 4. So online is always a minimum of 11.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
We got players over here complaining about 4 frames isn't, playable. And every single player on Smash Ult Online is playing at 11 frames, at least.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. I didn't realize it was that bad.
Bearing in mind also the nature of the Smash player base. There's a lot of younger players that are just playing on Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Ooh, that does not sound fun. And it's not like you guys can even resort to something like Parsec.
Nope.
Gotta hold that. Obviously, emulations come a long way, but Switch emulators aren't quite there yet, and if you were to, I don't want to get too political here, but if you were to end up emulating a nice networking solution for a game like Smash Ult, it'd probably be shut down pretty quickly.
Yeah, most likely.
Sad reality we live in. And yeah, Neville, Parsec, lol, Kick W, whatnot, but Parsec does work for other communities. It just hasn't had the best history in Granblue.
This works very well for Marvel.
Yeah, games like Marvel, for example. And we're not going to, again, get too political or get too far into the ins and outs of why Parsec is at Kick W, but, doing so would probably give me a bit of PTSD, but we could just be glad that instead of that situation, we get to have HABs on lovely Arc System Works delay-based netcode with all of its beautiful quirks, like spectators adding desync, stages adding desync, and randomly me having 4 frames connections to someone in Norway, and then having 2 frame connections to someone in Spain. How this ends up working out is beyond me, but you know what? I'll take it. I get to play the game that I enjoy. But imagine if we got the rollback. We're going to give it a try. I highly doubt that they'll retroactively add it to Granblue, but seeing stuff like Battle Passes coming to Granblue is, I don't know, it gives me some hope, because we're kind of innovating the space at the moment. I know a lot of people, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding the Battle Passes, but personally I'm happy, because it's free content to people who don't want to pay, and then for people who are able to or wanting to pay, they are going to be able to raise some more money. I really hope that we'd be able to have like a compendium aspect to it. So we're getting a battle pass, maybe 50% of all of the proceeds go towards a cup of some sort, Arc Revo. Obviously, it's not the easiest way to organize something like that right now, with Arc Revo pretty much not existing, at least in its previous state, but I would love to see something like that happen, with Granblue as kind of like a test subject for that model in the fighting game scene. I think that would be really, really good to see on Arc System Works side. Obviously, don't think we're seeing that yet, but I'm gonna I'm gonna cross my fingers and hope that's how the Battle Pass actually ends up being released towards the actual time. I'm also curious on how they do that. If it forces me to play ranked, I might be a bit annoyed.
Rank's not the best, but I think one thing that was, going back to the game, of course, one thing that was really cool right there was just the way that Zaji was able to do with Iggy and just displaying the unique options that Barry has, being able to use the swing to evade some of those options from Iggy.
Dizzy is on fire right now. Reacting to that GG, that's very important in pretty much every matchup. If you have a gap closer, you need to be ready to use that on the GG calls. It's pretty much the only time where you're going to get a situation like that to occur. But Dizzy at the ready, uses the fake goon into the throw setup, and now all of a sudden he's at chip point. Does it get a punish? Tries to get the far heavy into the SSBA there, doesn't connect. One more chip was going to do it. I would love to have seen, yeah, there we go, a parry. Weirdly, not the spot I would have wanted to see parry in, because the EXCP or spot dodge on reaction would have been fine as a response from Zaji. Spot dodge is a little bit worse than other characters because Ferry doesn't have the best. There we go, that's what we want to see. Sets up the GG, then uses the EXCP as a reaction to it, the parry. That's what we want to see. Spot dodge isn't as good for Ferry because she has only 6 frame buttons. So unlike other characters, she's, you know, Lowen is effectively not as minus. That was really weird looking. From standing to crouch block on the PG. But I would have wanted to see the EX parry on the drills, if I'm honest. Not the safe jab afterwards. But it doesn't matter to Zaji. Zaji was looking a little bit sketchy underneath the Yigi, but afterwards, instantly just taking that round back into control. Ooh, okay. Interesting. I didn't realize that sweep traded for that. I wonder what the attack level... One of you guys is bound to be a very know-it-all. I know they changed the attack level to Hoops recently, right? If I remember correctly. But, what is the attack level of Hoop? If anyone in the chat knows. Oh, I guess a better question would just be, what's the attack level of Lowen Sweep? Is it? That obviously just clashed. And we're seeing a little bit right now. I would have loved to see more of that. Obviously, this is going to be the round regardless. But Perry has some really unique ways to deal with Iggy that I've been shown by Rixter, who happens to be a main of both of these characters. Perry can, if she knows what she's doing, you might have to hit Rixter up, Zaji, after this tournament. But if you know what you're doing, you can pretty effectively entirely turn off Iggy, which is an interesting, we'll go with an interesting personality trait that Perry has. Just saying no to anything that you want to do.
Very strong personality trait.
You know, she got a whip. Gotta be domineering. Got poison, now we got Fairy. Oh, okay, nice. Second bait that we're seeing from Dizzy. Ready at the ready for these, I'm not sure if I agree with spending EX Awesome Source there. Because now you obviously don't have a corner combo tool. Yeah, keeping him in the corner, using that HBA overhead. Anti-air button. I don't know, I feel like there's quite a bit of slop going there. Oh, okay. Trying to use the 2H to whip punish that far heavy.
Very, very nice right there, just to avoid the cap.
Oh, no, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tries to jump his way out, trying to catch Zaji slipping, but you'll notice that Zaji always does a very gapless string to get to let the GG go off without them having any interaction whatsoever before starting those mix-ups, which I respect quite a lot. Never skipping any steps. But Zaji, moving forwards, a player that we're very commonly, again, seeing in the top 8 of these tournaments, which is, again, wonderful, because it used to be that Rixter was, like, the ferry in Europe. There were lots of others, like Jundo and Breaker, etc., that he was teaching. But for the most part, Rixter was the ferry. And then the second era of Granblue came about, and Zaji found found HAB. I believe it was Neville that brought him in. And ever since, he's been developing his ferries so much, and now he's definitely held in high esteem by me and a lot of the community. Rickster complaining about new ferry. Classic. Alright, next up is Godflash versus Peter. Again, two brilliant character representatives. Probably the top of their field, respectively.
Lancelot versus Narmaya.
Yeah, again, I don't know if I can even comment on this matchup in particular, so much as the player matchup. I feel like it's really just going to be who plays better than the other player, as both of these characters are very capable. They have a lot of very flexible tools. Lancelot is a little bit more streamlined in the application of them, in my opinion. Has a little bit more of a straightforward game plan. But Narmaya has some brilliant tools to actually stop him doing his classic light fireball and approach behind it. Her EX Misfire can just completely get rid of that, even if it's EX Fireball that Peter opts into using.
Yeah.
Be interested to see that pan out. We have Kraz in the tournament discussion channel saying, aka top tier versus bottom tier. So, interesting to note, though, that he put top tier underneath Godflash's name, and bottom tier underneath Lance's name. So clearly that's how he feels.
That's a very rare opinion. Bottom tier Lance? I've never seen that before.
Yeah, God forbid that we'd admit that Narmaya is pretty damn good. But 110 people in the chat. I'm loving to see so much support for EU Granblue. If just a chill for a little moment, if any of you have not checked out the match arena that you see in the top right hand corner, be sure to check it out. It takes you 2 seconds to use the code to donate 50 cents directly into the bracket, and that means that this money is going straight to the top 3 players in Europe's pockets. They're pretty much just nowhere else. all European Granblue players to be right now, unless I'm mistaken. Like, if you're French, you have some French tournaments that are giving out prizes. Shoutouts to the French community. But other than that, there's not much place to be if you actually want some real money, especially in Europe. Over in NA, they have a lot more opportunity. Obviously, NLEC last night alone had a $500 prize pool. I wish, man. I wish I could get, you know, as much, not necessarily support from the community, but I wish I could try to reach out to some sponsors to try and get some real love pushed into the EU Granblue scene. I have heard rumors that something is coming, but got no cement details on that. But I'm going to do everything that I can to get these players the recognition they deserve and the monetary incentive to enter these tournaments that they deserve, because they have not been given equal opportunity, I feel, as the rest of the world has.
Yeah, such is the
woes of living in Europe. Yeah.
Yep.
But, you know, whilst we do have a lack of recognition and a lack of resources in some, you know, some areas, the one thing we did not have a lack of is ridiculous amounts of talent.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
And teleport goes up that moonsault, doesn't confirm off of the, again, fake cross-up using that 5U on the fireball. The amount of people that I see at top level even getting hit by that is really astonishing. Speaking of, drops a combo!
That's a huge drop!
Drops a combo! And that's saying, nope, I'm out of here. What's the corner? Okay, there we go, we're seeing it. Not gonna get that light fireball out, not against Almaya. Not against Kiza, but that too heavy is so good. Peter taking the first round.
Two very unfortunate game-winning drops from Godflash right there. Hopefully, maintain that composure.
Yeah, I mean, gets checked there by the 2U. Beautiful stuff from Peter, but that was tragic to say the least. Not one, but two drop confirms, one after the other. I know that Godflash was saying that he feels a little bit ran down, but he still ended up playing in this bracket, so huge shout-outs to him. Not only helping out in the bracket by attending, but helping out as a tournament administrator as well. Hope you feel better soon, man. I mean, I wasn't feeling well this morning, but EU Granblue and lemon green tea has perked me up to no end. I'm feeling real good right now.
Good old lemon green tea.
Oh, okay. Goes for the empty low. This is the second time in a row he cycled that option, but he is getting great reward out of it so far. That is going to be 1-0 to Peter. The chat is absolutely blowing up with Lancelot here right now. Europe is making itself feel heard, but please guys, let's not hurt Peter's feelings, because he is the one player we have on Lancelot, so if we get rid of him, we're pretty much screwed. I don't know, I guess a lot of them will feel like that's a good thing, but I definitely don't feel that way. I enjoy watching Peter, and I think having character variety is a good thing for Europe as a whole. Like, where the Belial's at? I know Deviants has got university work, but come on, we need our single Belial to show up. Chariot and Deviants, I think, were the... and I believe Toast didn't make it last week, but he might be in this week, I'm not 100% sure. Either way, we definitely don't have as many of the upper tier characters. Percy! You're here with me, so there's at least that. But
I'm
bad. You're not that bad. You're better than you give yourself credit for. And Percy as well is a character that we never really get to see. Obviously, the one top tier character that I feel like we have in spades is Zeta, but even Zeta, we're not seeing all that much of recently. We're seeing Miri make a return to Zeta. Swampant, obviously, still strong. But we haven't been seeing, at least in this tournament, not a single one, right? No, we did, right at the start, Koji.
Yeah.
But, you know me, I can never see too much Zeta. Peter is at match point right now, is suffering a health deficit. Nice! Pulls out the Blade Wrecker.
Yeah, previous round it was looking very, very sketchy for Godflash. You know, it felt like Peter was in absolute control. Is that going to hit? No! Able to block in time, and that's going to be the round for Godflash, getting that one on the board. Very important. Keeping
One
that
round
tournament
away,
alive.
yeah. If he can get that round, and then even up the bracket, that will relieve so much pressure from him, because not only is he one step closer to beating Peter, he also doesn't have to worry about being robbed one round. He still has one round leniency if he can just get this next one. But you still got to get that round, and that is easier said than done. Using the 5U, because gets to retain the corner. Nice stuff. Getting the throw. 2L, 2L. Blocks the charged. Teleport. Adoption, I don't see Peter using that often, but he's used it twice in this set already. Ooh.
So, challenge from Peter right there. Block the left, right. He's gonna block the
okay.
super. He DPs the super, very, very nice.
Much better, never mind. Empty the port, straight into that. That's four. Gets the empty again.
Low, and that is going to...
No.
No, not yet.
Chip point.
There's a chip.
Doesn't do the lay wrecker. Oh, the charge. Oh, it's so close. The charge teleport coming out for the 4th time. Closing out this round.
Coming down on the skull, the helm breaker, and that will be the 2-0 to Peter.
Godflash was so close to evening that back up, but Peter ultimately taking this one over the Narmaya army of Europe, which is so funny. We have such a weird cycle of characters. We've always had a fair amount of bubs, but now the amount of bubs we have is ridiculous. We've always had a fair amount of Narmaya, but now the amount of Narmaya we have is ridiculous. And then we used to have a ton of Lancelot and Levers. They are but entirely gone.
Yeah.
There are rare species these days.
It's understandable for Ladiva considering what happened to her at the start of Season 2, but Lancelot is particularly strange because that character is always still very good.
Alright, we're going to get Rixter up against Neville up in as the next match. Which I'm really looking forward to seeing. These are two of my favourite players. Obviously, for anyone who doesn't know, I once had a little bit of a run-in with Neville and I believe Shorwin as well. Because I called Neville random for doing SBA, pardon, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then he cancelled it on hit and reset into throw. The reason why I'm saying it was random wasn't to throw any disrespect, it was to say, how on earth could anyone expect that? That was so random. But obviously there was intentionality behind it, but Jesus Christ, you'd never expect to see that, and that is the element that I love about Neville. You can never call what he's going to do next. He's never that scared to run riskier options. That because obviously you can just fuzzy mash buttons or DP or super when someone is doing SBA like that on hit and then trying to cancel it into throw. But he is not scared to call you out on, you know, not being ready for something. And there's so much that you have to worry about when playing against a player that is willing to do pretty much anything, that it's very hard to stay on top of everything. And that's how, you know, you ironically see stuff like Ume Shoryu. It is very intentional. It's not, you know, random, but it's very hard to predict. And that's what I love about Neville. However, on the other side, we've got Rixter, who is a player who is phenomenal, adapting quickly and not falling victim to stuff like that. So it's going to be a relatively hard match. At the same time, this matchup in particular is really interesting to me because of the fact that Luane used to be really unfavored against Shotos, but now Luane actually has a really good time at out-zoning them, which is an interesting take. I hope we get to see a bit of that. Rixter doing a lot of running away, calling the laser.
When there's considerably less fear, to fear from the Shoto fireballs in particular, I can imagine that, you know, you don't have to be scared as much of the long range knockdowns. So as Luane, you feel more comfortable operating at those longer ranges.
For sure. I mean, what's going to happen? You eat an EX fireball, you call the Catalina bot, and then you eat a parfait, and you're fine. Back to normal. And now, you know, Neville doesn't have EX fireball. I highly doubt that Neville is going to let Rixter walk himself slowly towards the corner, or quickly, in Luane's case, as he sprints faster than I've ever seen a man run backwards before, all the way to the corner, because Neville is a very interesting player that likes to move forwards a lot, so even though this matchup can come down to a lot of zoning, Neville is never afraid to move forwards, to press an advantage, to go for DPs, etc. More risky options on a call-out, like Universal Overhead, for example. So I doubt he'll give Rixter the space to be able to go for zoning in this matchup, which will force it into much more of an RPS-heavy matchup. For example, we just saw Blade Wrecker there catching Rixter going for the mash. But it's really interesting dynamic that just the players can change the way a matchup looks so heavily.
Neville throughout this whole bracket has been doing a really wonderful job just integrating those delayed records into his pressure, just pulling out people. Very nice 2M into the Skybound.
Beautiful stuff so far. This is dead, right? We've seen some ridiculous damage coming out from Neville this tournament, but instantly into the Iggy. Neville understanding that's more than likely what's going to come, so he is stepping back, but this is a lot of health to play with. Obviously, Luane, one of the characters that can get 2 supers pretty easily in a round. Uh-oh, this is punished.
Yes,
beautiful
very
stuff
nice.
from Neville. The
Beautifully
best
dealt
health
with
we've
Iggy
seen
right
so
there.
far. Yeah.
Battle 2.
love to see it. Wow, depends on what side of the coin you're on. I'm personally really feeling Neville at the moment. He's doing a lot of good work trying to help out with the promotion of not just HAB events, but the French events to the rest of Europe as well. So it's definitely going fully appreciated by me. We're seeing that. Obviously, Jida can charge up that 5U a lot quicker now as well, this match.
Of course, change both her and Gran received. Very nice walk back into the farm.
Seeing it again. Yeah. We saw the shimmy, I believe, into farm medium, into EX Fireball, and then tried to catch him on a reset with 2U. I believe that is a setup now. That isn't him trying to combo. But look at the size of those normals. So good. Nice whip punish. And there we go. That was what I wanted to see earlier. You don't really have to mess around with Layer Wrecker as characters like Luane, Zeta, etc. because you do have the ability to use your parries as a special cancel, basically to write them off. Same against Lancelot and a lot of characters like that. But we've been seeing Neville make a surprisingly great use of this nerf Wrecker. A lot of people are claiming that it's the one reason why Jida is as bad as she is this batch, on paper. But Neville really showing up right now.
Yeah, dealt with Iggy in both instances absolutely, pretty much perfectly. Blocked
Character loyalty goes a long way.
Timed those dodges perfectly. Knew exactly when to run in to be able to close the gap and get that end punish.
Those were beautiful. Genuinely, the fact that no other player has managed to get out of it unscathed, but Neville has gotten out of it unscathed twice and gotten the punish that we were seeing God Flash flaming for in the past, is really testament to how on point Neville is right now.
He's playing exceptionally well.
Oh my god, all the way to the corner, gets the wall bounce into the EX boys. All of a sudden you're lacking resources to really continue your pressure, trying to use the EX parry there to catch the EX, well, using EX parry pardon to catch the EX tracker. Doesn't happen, and then we see Luane running back, holding the EX Catalina, and again, just constantly back and forth, in and out. And that's the style that I really love to see from characters like Luane, Yul, Ferry, Metera, Zeta. Oh, nice!
Wow!
Good clash.
Ready on those clashes.
Ooh. Doesn't quite get the Granblue mechs up. So close. 2H into the HPA this combos, and that's going to be dead. Never mind, no damage. Oh, that was scaled to the moon.
Right, relieves that pressure with the EXDP, still very troublesome situation.
I mean, he's going to hold down
we've
back.
seen Neville, yeah, we've seen Neville make these comebacks. One solid hit.
It doesn't matter, he's just going to hold down back. He's not going to take a risk, he's going to get himself to Yigi then, but...
Oh,
no, he's
what
not!
A shimmy! What a shimmy!
Rickson, no, you broke your own rule! Just hold down back, let yourself get to Yigi. I mean, at the end of the day, against Neville, that wasn't looking like a very good, opportunity to go for that Iggy, because Neville has been shrugging them off as if they're nothing, but at that much HP, he would have not been able to take them on block, at least. But breaking his own rule, trying to tech that throw, and the Neville shimmy coming in hot.
Yeah,
I love to see him
is playing
cycling it, though.
He's playing so much confidence at the moment.
Yeah, he always has. Like, he always has. You'd never be able to deter him from going for options like Universal Overhead, DP, etc., which made him very hard to fight against in the past. But right now, he is just reacting so well with these DPs. But specifically, the beautiful thing to see is that he's cycling his options on against Faro now. He used to just do, as we just saw, the Neville special, Universal Overhead. But now he's cycling in a lot of shimmies that he used to do before, but to much less reward. Now he is getting very consistent reward from them. The shimmies are looking top tier. And ending it with a Neville classic, we're going to the next one. Match point for Neville going into the grand finals.
Yeah, of course, this being top 3, we are in the first to 3 territory. But man, this is looking like such a strong performance from Neville so far.
Which I wasn't expecting, honestly. I was all on the Rickster train. I was thinking Rickster was looking pretty untouchable with his Luane this tournament. But Neville's got something to say about that for sure. Which, again, not trying to come at anyone at all. But, like, Neville is the last person that I would have expected to see deal with Yigi in such a refined way. Usually he's a bit more of a scrappy player, but he is dealing with this phenomenally well. Very cleanly.
It is, of course, worth noting as well that Neville was the one, I believe, to knock Peter into losers earlier.
Oh yeah, true.
So
he is on a
I think, yeah, that really is a testament to how well he's playing today.
Don't get me wrong, after months of Neville winning tournaments, I don't sleep on him anymore. There's no way you can. But he has evolved so much and developed so much as a player, like I was saying earlier on in the tournament, that it's really, really refreshing to see. And that's probably my favourite thing about hosting these for so long. Iggy coming in, and this is going to be the next attempt. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be interesting to see at the very least. Nice spot dodge, spot dodge. Oh, doesn't jump and block, but doesn't end up getting hit by any of the unblockable setups. He does get hit. Going for that EX Fireball by lightning. Yeah, all of a sudden this is looking a lot closer. Universal overhead, punishing the throw attempt. An aggressive universal overhead read. You cannot get more Neville than that. Oh, sweet round start. Neville being very patient. Getting caught on the run forwards by the second one there. Good stuff from Rixer so far. He's been doing a lot of retreats into the challenges, which have been catching Neville on the walking forwards. I think we want to see more of that if Rixer's going to have any chance at punching out a win at the moment. The thing is that the supers are basically doing nothing for Rixer at this point. Which puts him
it's not even like he's not even like he's using them at bad times. It's just Neville is playing around them so superbly that they're not putting in the work that one would hope for the lane side. Finally, we're going for the HPA instead.
Oh, here we go. He's dealing with it perfectly. That's how you're supposed to deal with HPA.
Yep. Hold
this
the
is beautiful.
React to the flow moves with dodge back.
Neville has been in the lab.
But finally, Rick's able to get one on the board right there.
For sure. I love that though. He's out with Iggy, showing that he's not a one-trick pony. He's also labbed HPA. He's ready for this matchup, which everyone in Europe has to be at this point. We have players like Rixter, Dizzy, and effect probably, if he ever returns, Padu, playing Luane, some of Europe's finest. And if you're not ready for Luane, he will run you over. Speaking of, 17 hit combo into a setup. Nice, EXCP blocked.
Yep.
Awesome source, and that should be it. Getting full use out of that close heavy into the auto combo. So much damage. Alright, Rixter back on the board. And if there, again, we've been singing Neville's praises, but if there is a single player that I would put my money on, other than Svampin, to come back, it's going to be Rixter. The amount of unironic reverse sweeps that I've seen from him, coming from the loser's bracket, and then winning grand finals, is obscene.
Believe in victory.
It's so nice seeing character loyalists like Neville playing so well, though. A lot of people have written Vegeta off, across all regions, in fact. So it's beautiful to see some top-tier Vegeta representation. I know we had Arafu in the tournament as well, we didn't get to see him play. He did play top 8 with Vegeta last week, where Neville didn't actually, which is interesting, because they got each other's backs.
2 weeks ago.
Vegeta armies were... Oh yes, 2 weeks ago. In come the EX boys, and we're seeing a lot more of the zoning style that I was talking about earlier. Which is what I wanted to see moreover from Rixer at the moment. It's just seeing him run back, doing the hit and run style with the parfaits, because whilst Neville usually is a very aggressive player, he's clearly playing a lot more patiently. He's a lot more willing to sit there and comfortably deal with Rixer's tools. Nice, good confirm. Crouching confirm into the medium DP. Here comes Iggy.
Good on Rixter to not.
Time.
Good on Rixter to not bite and press throw right there.
Oh, it does look like he's gonna block it successfully for a 4th time. No, never mind.
Oh, caught by the unavoidable setup right there. Well, the unblockable.
Yeah, very, very screwed at that point. Doesn't matter what you do. Unless you're a character that can alter the air momentum, which unfortunately Vegeta is not. She cannot sprout wings as much as I'm sure the Vegeta players would love to see that happen. Ooh, nice. The boy sets up the throw. All of a sudden, Rixter is looking much more in control of the set. Checks with the 2M, but gets whip punished by the huge 2U from the Wayne. Into another hit, this is it.
Yep. EX awesome source into the auto combo again.
Nah, goes to the HPA setup. This is effectively checkmate. Yeah, getting hit by the low.
2-2 all of a sudden. The ball was so firmly in Neville's court, and now complete 180.
I mean, if this is, like, Luane will do this quite a lot. If he gets momentum of a match, he will run with that, probably harder than anyone else in the game. Yeah. As Neville, you just have to take a step back, calm down, remember what you're doing right in the first set. And honestly, I'll admit that a lot of this, to me, comes down to the fact that Rixter is starting to cycle in HPA a lot more.
Yeah, as soon as we saw him more aggressively using the HPA, definitely seemed like he was finding a little bit more success.
Okay, back to character select. No, unfortunately not. Just taking the quick reset.
Surprised. I couldn't imagine Neville hopping off the Vegeta. you don't have the Jita banner saying she's the cutest and not play Jita.
Believe in victory.
Yeah, Deviants, whilst Miri isn't wrong, it's pretty rich coming from a German player, you know what I'm saying? But, ignoring that, getting back to the match, we'll be seeing who's going to take this one. A French or a UK player. And obviously, I'm going to circle jerk my boy a bit. Rixter is an incredible player, and I'm hoping to see his way moving forwards. But, again, if there's any player that I've ever had confidence in to come back from the loser's bracket and do a reverse sweep, it's going to be Rixter. So I wouldn't mind seeing Neville win for his phenomenal performance against the Iggy early on.
Very nice spot dodge on the overhead this time.
Yeah,
He's
not
definitely
letting
ready
him
for
get
a
away
lot.
from it.
Yeah, he's definitely a lot more ready for a lot of Nevere's more unpredictable options. And there we go.
Some shimmies
finishing off
coming
the
back in.
HPA.
As obviously, if he did a shimmy there, that would have hard punished the spot dodge. Ooh, speaking of. Nice light awesome source coming out, checking him on the moving forwards. The exhausted source being spent straight into the setup. Nice, using the MDP to get out there.
So I think we're on match point for Rixter at the moment though.
Yeah, that's true, you're finished. Hey, am I getting you and Mick confused again, as I always do? But yeah, it's a cap. Oh, this is a significant amount of damage. Go for the MDP instead of the EXDP, I love to see it. Doesn't get
Trying to make the
anything.
parry, but yeah.
It recovers so quickly, in fairness. Oh, okay.
Definitely a lot more ready for those overheads.
EX Fireball straight into the awesome source. Beautiful stuff. Oh, wow, okay.
Ooh, big far heavy, but not confirming to Rekka.
Far
Now he has to
heavy
play again.
being air unblockable there, catching Llewellyn's toes, and now your
He has to
Yiki
play
test is on
immaculately
again.
versus a Iggy.
Oh, far rocks. Jumps in. Uses the rocks to try and make it more safe. The jump, yeah, means he's going to get the punish, but doesn't manage to confirm out of the far heavy. And chip!
Yeah,
By
the
the
chip.
instant boy, he is getting sent down into losers and Rixter, successfully reverse sweeping his way into grand finals. Damn.
Very, very nice. Even after playing against that Iggy right at the end, pretty much as well as he could have, just needed that one final opening. He didn't believe in that one confirm at the end after the far heavy, but
What a match.
No. yeah, excellent gameplay from both sides. Just seeing Rixter gradually adapt to the various sorts of options that Neville was trying to pull, particularly in the latter half of that set, was incredibly cool to see.
Just as a quick reminder, we are going back down to the semis now, and as a result of that, we are not going to be in a top first of three anymore.
Yeah, back to first of two with Peter versus Zaji coming up very soon.
Yeah, in the losers semi-finals, they are going to be basically the winner of that match is going to go straight up against Neville, which is going to be back to first of three territory. But regardless of how this set's going to go, we're back to first of two, and it's Ferry versus the Lancelot again, so it's going to be quick.
Yeah, I can imagine Zaji's probably not looking too forward to this set. Definitely going to be a...
If there's a player that I
tough
have
time.
faith in to beat Peter, it's going to be Svampen or Zaji at this point, I feel. Zaji's confirms and situational awareness, because he's been in the lab so frequently, really puts him a step above others to deal with a character that puts you in very unfamiliar situations more often than not. But more importantly than that, which is weird seeing as he's playing a character with a 6 frame, right? But
Yeah.
Zaji is very, very good at mashing. And I feel like you have to be really good at mashing to be able to beat a lot of Peter's offense. Between running up behind Fireball, getting his offense started into Wreckers, etc. You have to be very ready to take a risk on defense to get out of those situations. Which is the beautiful thing about Lance, obviously. You're enforcing your opponent into a risky situation pretty much every time. A lot of characters, when they're putting you into a block string, it doesn't really feel like there's all that much to worry about. But Peter and his Lancelot is definitely not that vibe. Peter dropping the have fun. Oh, you! Okay!
Ooh.
Okay!
That's how we're seeing her today.
Is this his answer to this matchup? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. This matchup is pretty damn cursed. But the first wait, this is the first Yule of the entire tournament.
Yep.
How on earth
Believe in
The
victory.
Yule theme coming in. We're celebrating this correctly. Okay, so this is gonna be. There's not gonna be enough time in this set to explain all the things we want to explain. We did have one Yule earlier, I remember. Cynical, earlier on in the tournament, if you remember. Yeah, he played against, I believe, Godflash. Into Svampin in the losers bracket. That was a rough run.
That's very rough.
And yeah, no, okay, yeah, the chat is correcting me. There we go. Nice to see. Ooh, nice. Multiple forward dashes. Trying to fake out that throw. Ooh, okay. There's the cross up. Weirdly enough, even though it looks like all of her buttons cross up, only one does, which is her jumping heavy. Jumping heavy is a multi-hit move, I believe, and it's very effective.
2 hits on both the jump medium and the jump heavy.
Okay, meeting him air to air, gets a cheeky left-right on the cross under. Nice, jumps back, beating out the EX Fireball and smokes him for it.
Battle 2.
He went for the EX DP afterwards just to try to contest anything he tried to press after.
Oh, okay. Whoa.
Cross up on that as well.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those characters that is going to force you to use that block button, especially when she's close to over your head.
Yeah.
Dive kick angle is very tricky. There are a lot of actual specific setups at the moment too, left, right, obviously. Not as important in this game, but if you can get someone blocking the dive kick, Yule is a character that is very RPS heavy, having access to auto parry and DP. Like, small, minor situations with a character like Yuel. Sometimes, no, they're not an advantage state, but they're definitely not that disadvantaged either, as your opponent is going to be forced into a guess.
She's also got the backdash if she's not got her back to the corner as another kind of invincible option to escape situations.
Ooh, yeah, double overhead. Very hard to block that. Going to be one overhead low, is it going to be empty low, or is it going to be 2 overheads? Probably one of the more effective mix-ups in the game, which is hilarious because it's from a safe jump. Okay, gets the throw. Fastball starts up the pressure. And again, one of the other tricky characters in the gas. Constantly able to jet the way in and out. Ooh, nice. Yeah, bro.
Oh, the counter on the Gorilla Blade, but not a bit too close to get the confirm.
Nice, XDP gets the knockdown. Whiffs a couple of buttons. Misses the safe jump. Ooh, okay, nice. Gets the counter hit. Doesn't get any serious confirms out of it so far. Ooh, nice. Uses the sweep. Keeps him on his toes. Okay. Takes his helm with the throw. And in the back throw as well. Huge positional advantage. Goes to the train trap, but no. Both players go up. One of them's going down. Ida. Oh no.
I felt like Zaji knew that jump was coming, that's why he went for that jump up, but...
We saw that a lot.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of, not just Zaji, but a lot of players jumping like nearly simultaneously with Peter, but not successfully managing to punish that teleport anyway. Nice. Good frame trap.
Good block.
Zaji playing phenomenally well, but again, the reward that you get from these hits is very incremental with UL. You have to make consistent right reads, which is hard to do, especially against a character like Lancelot with very good defensive options. One of the best backdashes in the game. Pretty good, the EX reversal in his C2X series.
DP to relieve the pressure. Of course, that comes in.
Nice.
UL far medium, yep.
It's the button that makes you want to play UL. Oh, and again, phenomenal use of it, confirming it into SSBA. No, SBA, pardon. Which is,
that is
much further reaching for the full animations. But I believe if you hit SBA at pretty much any reach, it will give you the full animation.
That was actually SSBA.
Oh, that was SBA without the full animation. Got you. Okay. This is my first UL match that I'm watching, like, from my POV. This is unfamiliar territory for me. All I know is the huge doc that Margin sent me. Shoutouts to Margin. Nice, gets the frame trap. Doesn't get the confirm though.
Yeah. That's the regular side.
Ooh, counter hit. All the way to the corner. What's the mix? Single overhead low.
That time,
It's blocked. Nice. Beautiful stuff.
Super
from
Sky,
Peter.
Super Sky on up, yeah.
Tournament point, but Zaji brought it very, very close this round. If he can go just a little bit further beyond, he is going to be able to tie this round back up, which will be huge.
Battle 3, engage.
Nice. And the thing is that Lancelot, his best option there would probably be to backdash or to use 5U to try and avoid the, I don't know even what you want to call that, the forward flip out of a 2-1-4 series.
Yeah.
Because his DP, surprisingly, isn't that good at dealing with that directly, as she recovers relatively quickly from it afterwards.
Yeah, makes sense considering that she is, I believe she's plus after, plus on block afterwards, so it would make sense.
Lancelot doing a really good job there, though, of escaping the corner almost instantly. Gets the EX Gorilla Blade into the SBA, and that should be it. Just to confirm, by the way, UL does have 10k like everyone else, right?
Yes.
I've noticed that it's definitely 10k, yeah. They're very hesitant to mess around with offensive modifiers in this game, as they wanted it to be relatively simple compared to other titles that Arc System Works have released previously. Which makes sense, you know, they're trying to move into the 2D space.
Yeah, I think the only DLC character that's not had 10k health is Sora's, right?
Yeah,
and even then he has a 10.5k.
Yeah. Alright, Peter Neville. Damn, our top 3 is Peter Neville Rixter. That is a strong top 3, which doesn't surprise me again, seeing as we were saying this from like losers round 3, that there is like not a single bad player left. But Peter not going to get a moment's break, going straight up against Neville. Fresh from a loss from Rixter, but he was looking incredibly solid. If he's brought the same amount of care to his lab work against Lancelot, we could be in for a very interesting losers finals. Which I'd love to see. There are very few players that can hold a torch to Peter, but historically, Neville has been right up there alongside him.
I mean, if his gameplay today is, his gameplay today has absolutely been testament to that.
For sure.
Both of them today, really.
I mean, there are a lot of players that would doubt the validity of it, but at the end of the day, results speak volumes, and Neville has very consistently placed it very high in his tournament lifetime. Not just in events like HAB as well, also in events like DKO, which happens to be, what I'm referencing right now, is the LCQ, and Neville actually did phenomenally well in it, but ultimately, Peter ended up being the player escaping that bracket, so let's see if history strikes twice, or if Neville, with his new developed Peter, will have something to say about Peter continuing further on in this tournament.
Believe in victory.
And here we go.
Battle 1.
The fish. I haven't set up that emote yet. I've been meaning to for so long. I really want to get that fish as an emote. The classic. It's just sad. We don't get to see as much fish anymore. They've tried to give us some substitute with Yule having the swordfish weapon. But it's not the same, man. It's not the same.
Because a swordfish looks like it could still be wielded as a weapon, because it's got that sharp nose, but a fish is just a fish.
It's just a fish. He's just slapping him with a fish. Oh, nice anti-air. That specifically is a really hard jumping normal to punish from Jita. But Peter doing a great job of answering it, but similarly, Neville instantly answering back in kind. Taking a 5e charge there. Nice and buffed. I'm a bit surprised that Peter used the EX Fireball cooldown there, but regardless, runs up, uses the EX Teleport to bait out the throw, and is that going to be it? Yeah, it is. Buff damage. Let's go. He needs it.
Battle 2. Engage.
Oh yeah, Lance is going to get Dandelion as well.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about that. Like, I want to think about how quickly a lot of these Battle Pass weapons are going to end up tournament banned. But if the Dandelion is going to look as stupid as it looks in the promo that we saw, I imagine it will be pretty fast.
There's a shimmy, but Peter...
Oh!
Disciplined, but get caught by the air throw.
Didn't go for the back throw on that, though. That would have been so sweet. Jumps up, throws him back in the corner. But then again, the corner doesn't exist for Lancelot, so I guess it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
No, actually, Lancelot, like, weaponizes the corner with those unreactable high-lows. So, maybe that was the correct option, keeping him away from that corner. Nice, double overhead blocked. Yeah, being very patient, and there it is. That's what I was waiting for. In the back of my mind that entire time, wins the DP.
Again, the delayed records, but you're doing a great job just blocking those.
Oh, okay, never mind. 5 views, a little bit preemptively, trying to go over that fireball. It was a nice read, but if you want to get it as a punish, you have to do it early. But against Lancelot's fireball with its slower startup, it's definitely not the easiest timing to get down. Nice, blocks the overhead. Again, Peter trying to weaponize that corner, but now he's left it with punishing with the SPA. It's kind of nice. Kind of nice. Double overhead again, blocks. Some great blocks coming out from Neville.
Block on that overhead. Big count hit right there.
No super available, so they shouldn't be dead, but one more set up. Empty
low. Very nice.
We all feel Neville's pain there, but he brought that so incredibly close. In a first of 3 series, there is a good chance he can bring this back.
Believe in victory. Battle 1. Engage.
Is Jita rushdown? No, Jita's a very mixed character. She's very balanced. Has great run speed, great walk speed, great far-reaching buttons, good frame data. She can effectively play most styles in the game. However, more runaway style and keep out style, using fireballs, because she used to have the best fireball game out there, has been nerfed pretty considerably with EX Fireball no longer knocking down, and Recovery especially being added to all of the fireballs. It means that she can no longer just dictate neutral by fireballs alone. You can effectively jump over them and get a punish now, whereas before that was not the case.
That's the 5th throw.
Yeah, it's the classic. I mean, that's what we're talking about when she turns into a rushdown character, right? The second you have someone's back to the corner, you have very quick run speed, very good normals, really good frame data, and a good throw range. And it doesn't matter when you're back to the corner. The character who's back to the corner you have is Lancelot, though. He will use that corner, jump onto your head, hit you with an overhead, and kill you, as we saw there. Nice! There we go. Seeing what the Neville was trying to do earlier. Predictively using that 5-year, which is a tool that you don't get to see from Jita all that often, so glad to see it getting some use here. Warcling's out of the corner, uses that 2-year, gets the knockdown, and now Neville's back to the corner. Double overhead, doesn't block it this time. I'm not sure if Neville's fuzzy blocking it, but his success rate up until this point has been absolutely incredible. Tries to forward roll out of the corner, that's a mix-up right there. It's if you forward roll or not, but Peter sitting there waiting, and as a result is going to be 2-0 up.
I feel like in the instances where Neville has managed to get the driver's seat, it feels like Peter is still able to make the comeback in those situations, but the same hasn't really applied to Neville at the moment, which I feel like is quite uncharacteristic. Usually he's really good at making those big comebacks, making those big plays, but
I think that's more the nature of the characters than the players. Obviously, Jita not having the ability to use EX Rekka nearly, at all, as sparingly as she used to, means that it's very hard for her to make comebacks, whereas Lancelot, obviously, when you're losing, you're traditionally near the corner, and obviously Lancelot becomes the most dangerous when he is at that position, so it's a little bit easier for him to make those clutch comebacks.
But now, potentially the last round for Neville if he's not able to make something happen here. Peter already opening up right at the start.
Nice! EX Fireball, getting out that 5-year. Oh, okay. Nice. That's just under the charge teleport. Gets the punish. Now, Neville is slowly edging Lancelot to the corner, being patient, takes his time, steps back, but gets put into block stun, and as a result gets thrown. Not once, but twice for that back throw. 2U into the Fireball, getting the juggle!
Oh, this is big damage. Not often you say that about Lance, but that was...
Nah, I mean, Lancelot is a bit honest that kills in 2 or 3 touches. Let's not lie anymore. Lancelot's damage is not weak. Oh. Not the way you want to see it end.
Oh no, right at the end.
The first significant little spike of lag that we've seen in a while. But, regardless, Peter looking very convincing as he is going to have to face off against Rixida. Last week, we saw Svampen returning from losers to have to face against Rixida. He lost 2 matches in the first part of the reset, and then managed to reverse sweep his way all the way to winning the last tournament. So let's see if Peter can respond in kind, or if Rixter can break that streak. What's your prediction? Because you originally had Peter. Has Rixter changed any of that for you, or?
Oh, you know, I'll stick with the Peter prediction. I think, with how dominantly he played that set in particular, and with how well he's been playing through most of the bracket, I'll pin my bets on him.
Rixter asking for 2 minutes, which is ideal. Peter definitely probably wanting a little bit of a moment to compose himself. It's rather that, or he's reeling off of his win and doesn't want to break this momentum. But either way, so he's going to be with us in just a minute. As a result, there's 112 of you in this chat right now. So if you want to take a moment to support us in any way, be sure to check out Virum over on his own Twitch and Twitter. He streams lobby nights for Granblue and all sorts of other content. So yeah, just be sure to check him out. He also does, I'll admit, some pretty funny tweets. It's worth checking him out over there as well.
No, don't follow me on Twitter. I'll just retweet art.
But aside from that, be sure to follow the stream if you're enjoying content like this. We will be doing Granblue streams every 2 weeks. And if you're interested in Guilty Gear, we'll be doing that on the alternate week. So aside from that, if you are feeling generous and you want to show some love to the Matcherino, just head on over. I'll drop a link in the chat. Use code Matcherino HAB Season 2 GB2, and you can donate 50 cents to the prize pot for free. Aside from that, if you've got Twitch primes, you know, feel free to drop them in. Because I believe I'm relatively close to a affiliate payout. If I get an affiliate payout before the end of March area, I will happily put all of that affiliate payout straight into the Matcherino. I will put that on I'll put that on record here. So if you feel like supporting the stream or the community in that way, feel free to do so. Obviously, if you have that Twitch Prime, it is free to do so, just as is with Matcherino. If you've got anything that you'd like to share with him, feel free. And this little downtime that we have here.
Honestly, nothing in particular. Honestly, I just echo what you said. Just keep supporting EU Granblue. It's wonderful to see the scene flourish, gradually grow, seeing more and more people constantly improve, and yeah, it's been a lovely time being a part of this community so far.
Yeah, I'm very happy to say exactly the same thing. I mean, there have been a couple. Thank you so much, Cynical, for the subscription. There have been a couple of mishaps here and there, but other than that, it's just very light drama. But other than aside from a couple of small things that we could point out, the EU community has been very, very strongly banded together this entire time. There are some people who aren't a huge fan of other events. We also have the Just Meta series of drama that we used to have in EU Granblue, which was an interesting saga. But aside from that, it's been relatively peaceful, and I would like to take a moment to thank everyone in the European community for being as respectful as we have been to each other. I'm very happy and proud of the place that Hearts of Blazing has become. It's made me, I'm not gonna lie, it's made me a better person. But which is lovely to say. I'm a lot better of a person, because a year ago I hadn't even entered the FGC. It was literally just me starting to, I believe it was the Evo trailer with Strive that made me create HAB in the first place. But before that, that was me getting into the FGC, was Evo 2018 or 2019, whichever one of those it was. And since then, I have had nothing but a great time. So I'm very happy of everything that we've achieved over the past year. And none of it would have been possible without you guys, so keep it up, man. I really appreciate it. Here we go. Beautiful stuff coming out from the start, yeah. Peter versus Rixter. An iconic grand finals at that. One that I've been wanting to see for quite a while. I mean, if I had to... This is a really hard point, but if you had to name, top 5 in Europe right now, I think that a lot of the names that we're seeing here today would be on that list. But chief among my list would be Peter, Rixter, Venom, Svampen. I feel 4, and then the 5th slot is really up in the air. A lot of players could contend for that. And there are so many players that we don't even get to see play because they don't play in online. So offline Granblue could very unironically look entirely different when offline ends up coming back, which I'm really excited to see. We will have a, like, I want to say a second wind for EU Granblue, but EU Granblue is flourishing at the moment, I feel. So seeing it do even better will be incredibly hype. Can't wait to see the potential of that in 2021.
Yeah, I only see it growing once offline tournaments are able to properly stabilize and the community is able to properly interact and play against each other at like an international level. I'm really excited to see major events for this game in particular.
That is true, C5. Debbie does make everyone look free. I feel like there's so much argument, but like we have to go purely off of results if we're trying to make any objective argument at the moment. But then there are plenty of people that would rightfully say, well, none of these results matter, it's all online, right? And a lot of the killers who would only play offline aren't here. The online scene is different, so on and so forth. But this is all the metric that we've got to go by. But regardless of who ends up making the top 5 in Europe, there is no doubt in my mind that we could have a list 20 strong of phenomenal world-class players in Europe at the moment.
Peter right now looking exceptionally strong, just completely relentless in that previous game.
I will say though, Rixter is the king of reverse sweeps. He only gets stronger every time he loses a round in grand finals. He gets a Zenkai boost. Oh, going for the slow shimmy. Nice. XCP, empty jump, trying to bait out that protect. Or maybe trying to go for that teleport. That was both, I guess. That's pretty neat options. Probably why we've seen so many players jump up like that, like that. But not a single one has managed to punish him when he actually does teleport down. Peter always seems to be at advantage on the way down. So, it's not working out all that well.
Battle 2, engage.
Something as well I really like about the way that Peter is playing is that it feels like there's these moments where he's giving Rixter this sort of breathing room, almost like this room to like, okay, I want you to press a button now, and then in comes the Gorilla Blade. In comes something to just kind of close in that gap and make him just feel completely uncomfortable, completely smothered again. Seeing it right here.
For sure. Rixter, oh, never mind. I was going to say he has to guess, but guesses with his face, failing that Iggy input. You hate to see it. Alright. 2 failed Iggy's away from being out of, well, for the bracket being reset. I can't stress this enough. Peter is on a good track.
He's trying to speedrun these grand finals.
Yeah, he wants that reset, man.
Don't worry about speedruns. Yeah, GDQ is a good month or so away, bro. Teleport, side switch, and now the corner is mine to control, says Peter.
Oh no, not again.
He's caught by the fireball.
Second time in a row now. Man, Lance combos take a while, huh? There we go. Doesn't fail the Iggy this time. And let's see what Peter's got in store. Oh, okay, gets hit. And lands on the fire. Okay, Rixter finally taking a round off of Peter. And let's see if this is the reverse momentum that we were looking for.
Alright, great start coming out from Rixter so far.
I'm liking the questions that Mystic Smash is asking in the chat. It's adding a lot of interesting narrative to the chat at the moment. But yeah, it depends on what kind of consistency you're going for. We have a lot of players like who consistently do pretty well, hitting top 8s, etc. But the player that most consistently wins has got to be, again, for the reasons that we were listing before, it's got to be historically Rixter, Venom, or Padu. If not, Svampin and Peter are close seconds, but they Svampin's definitely up there with those. Peter hasn't attended as many HABs as the others, so that loses some cadence. But some of the newer players like Peter and Deviants have also had an incredible winning streak in not just HAB, but lots of other tournaments as well. Speaking of, though, now you've got to deal with Iggy for the second time in a row. Let's see how consistent you can... Getting hit by rocks means that there's going to be no punish. Yeah. Runs into the fireball again. Rixter really tending to take these to the face. Tries to mash out of that situation, or maybe was going for the parry. Either way. No gaps left there.
Battle 3, engage.
I mean, in the UK, we've actually got quite a few decent players, like Richter and Deviants, who has been especially showing up a lot recently. He's not been taking part as much in the past because of Uniwork being a little bit stonked. But that's true for a lot of people across Europe at the moment. Those university students know the grind at the moment. Finals coming up.
Busy times for everybody.
For sure. But yeah, I would say that generally speaking, if you're looking for like the top tier of play, you can't just look at one region, because Europe has such an incredible collection of talent spread across so many different regions. I mean, if you were looking at the results graphic earlier, not only is there incredible character diversity, there's also an incredible amount of region diversity in European Granblue. We have the UK, Sweden, Germany, France, and that's just to name like the main four. There's also Finland, and plenty of other regions like Spain with some outstanding players as well.
I mean, Peter himself is Czech Republic, right?
Yeah, right. He's one of the outliers, right? We don't see that many talented players coming outside of the main regions all that often. But then we have people like Peter who are ridiculous.
And of course, Zaji from Russia.
Yeah, Russia. We have quite a few, actually, killers from Russia. Some that we don't get to see in HAB as often, because obviously connections from the easternmost point of Europe aren't always as good to people in Central and Western Europe.
Yeah.
But there are some real killers out there as well. Vasaraga especially, which is a shame. Mr. Prower being one of the better players from over towards that region, I believe. And his Vasaraga is no slouch whatsoever. Damn, Deviants. Yeah, Deviants isn't bad. Deviants is my boy. I wish we could get to, see him playing a little bit more, but I believe we'll get to see him again in the future. We have players like Citizen as well that we're not seeing all that often. He doesn't tend to take part in online all that much, but specifically today he is being respectful, as he doesn't want to wake someone up as the event, especially when they get as big as this, do tend to go on for a little bit longer than usual. Citizen is a phenomenal Percival player, which I really want to see in the bracket at some point soon, because I want to see how Percy stacks up in the current alignment of the game. Yeah, right, we don't get to see him that often. Okay, Iggy. Real test for Peter. He gets hit by rocks, okay. And then the unblockable setup.
Getting knocked that far back was definitely the kicker right there.
Yeah, true, there we go. Here is the forbidden name that we haven't mentioned yet. Lord Venom. You might have heard him mentioned when I was saying some of the most consistent players, and he is easily the most consistent player in Europe. If we're not discounting the fact that he isn't able to attend that much at the moment, he is probably the most seasoned and well-decorated player in EU Granblue. He's won probably the biggest tournament that EU Granblue has ever seen in the Double KO series. And other than that, he's very consistently taken wins in events like Hearts of Blazing, Gibbs, etc., which are some of the bigger events in Europe. Luckily, we're being kept safe from his bubs at the moment, so we get to see grand finals like this.
Iggy coming through once again. Using a wall jump.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very good tool to, just similarly to Furry, any character that has good ways to alter their air momentum means that they can ignore orbs relatively. So that's always a great thing to do. Oh, okay. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Okay.
That was crazy. Starting off of that incredibly well-placed 2U from Richter just to snipe out the Gorilla Blade, and then leading into all of that.
Again, if there's one player that you can rely on to come back in these tournament sets, and one player that you can rely on to kind of get into the mind of the opponent and adapt very quickly, it's gonna be Richter, but that was something else. Oh, nice, interrupting the Gorilla Blade with the 2U. Richter is on fire right now. Nice, getting the double overhead, and now Peter is taking his turn back, escaping that corner just as quickly as he's put in it. Nice. Just getting his offense started at this point. Obviously, Lancelot can escape this corner and turn this on its head at any moment, but getting all of these empty lows, it's going to add up. Especially because at some point, Rickster can just hold down back and try and get a Yigi win, like he's been getting some success out of recently. Oh, okay, whoa. The 5U putting Peters back to the corner, but again, that is a weapon. Rickster not carrying that much, just holding down back and then sprinting to the other side of the screen. We're punishing with the EX Awesome Source, and then getting an interesting trade. I don't like how risky Rix's movement is being at this direct second, though, because one hit and you could die, because Lancelot's sandwich is, in fact, not low.
Especially what he has the Super Skybound active as well, so...
Yeah. Ooh, nice, good parry. Again, now I'm just assuming Rickster is going to walk himself to the corner and just hold down back. Oh, okay, never mind. Super jumps out with the JU.
The happy feet coming through.
And that's the thing, right? Being a top tier player is all about being unpredictable. And I would have expected Rickster just to hold down back there and let himself get chipped into Yigi. But nope, super jumps out of the corner, uses JU. It's so hard to get a read on top players, I swear to God. But that's what makes them so hard to defend against.
Being a player like
Peter, man, I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Being a top player is having an incredibly strong flowchart that just allows you to kind of steamroll the lower level players, but then also having those elements of unpredictability.
Yeah, being able to just intuitively adapt to a situation like that, with stuff that no one's ever seen before, but it just feels right. Nice, using the guard button, blocking the fake cross up, but the lights into the super will tie this up.
2L, 2L, 2M, one of the things granted to Lance in Season 2.
This is why not, he needs it. You know what, Arc System Works was looking at him on the tier list, they were like, what, this man isn't top 1? One sec, let's fix that real quick. Again, I'm one of the few people that doesn't necessarily hate it, but that's because I have the luxury of not being a, you know, I don't compete. So I'm not forced to play matchups that I don't want to play. If I don't want to play against a Belial or Lancelot, I'll just duck Deviant.
Damn. Not even being subtle about that one.
Oh yeah, no. Straight up. Deviant's knows. Oh, wow, okay. A jump medium from the way it looks so weird. But super jump back, kills Enigi. Needs some assistance. Peter has a lot of health here, though. And doesn't have his back to the corner or anything like that. Gets hit by the unblockable, and all of a sudden the health is a little bit more even. Tries to 2U underneath that fireball, but it does not work again.
Cross up empty row.
Goes straight for that super. And the beautiful thing about Lancelot Super is that no matter what distance you are at, literally, it will always get full animation and full damage, so...
Yep.
It's pretty low maintenance as opposed to some other characters and their super usage. First of all, for example, as I saw your clip, pretty interesting time. Try and punish Fireball too early, you get bonked.
Yeah, that was Season 2, them nerfing the invul on that, but it's all good.
I believe they did the same to Grand Stinger, right? Just generally Stinger supers as a whole.
Yeah. I think Jeeta's as well, I would say.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure all of these Stinger style supers, other than Ladivas, got nerfed in that way. Which is good. If they removed the invuln, or at least nerfed the invuln from Ladiva, that'd have been very sad. Oh, nice! The beautiful confirm off of the Logoon. Oh, okay. You don't get to eat in Peter's face.
Using the closed H to try to clash the normals just so that it's easier to react to, but Rickster quickly catching on, just delaying himself.
I will say, Mystic, if you're ever looking for a Matera that's willing to sit down and talk to you about Matera, I can say that Margin and Mr. Pow are always more than helpful whenever I have a Matera question. Nice! Gets the JU, walks his way out of the corner, gets the parry on the jump. But doesn't matter.
We're finding quite a bit of success with that JU in the corner.
Yeah, very oddly.
Get out.
Just super jump JU.
Let's confirm into Skybound Art. That should be enough, I think. Or maybe a bit. Nah, that's enough.
course
in my mind, I'm still used to the season 1 damage. Like, oh, this is great damage.
Yeah. Lancelot does low damage. Remember, guys? You know, I get too touched by a Lancelot. Oh, okay, nice. Lances his way out of the corner, but a beautiful parry.
Doesn't want to deal with any shenanigans in the scramble.
Speaking of scrambles,
Rekka
Jesus, the delayed Rekka cancels.
rolls out the corner very nice.
Oh, keeping him in check with that jump back, jumping heavy. And again, that's the thing. Why is it that Peter is in the corner, but Rickster is the one constantly having to fight to keep him there?
Yep.
That's the beautiful thing about Lance, but again, if there's a single player that can do it as effectively, because it's not like it's free, there's a lot of risk involved for doing it for, well, there can be, at least, for Lancelot, but Peter himself actually ended up engineering a lot of the tech that Lancelot players are now using to escape the corner. So if there's anyone who knows how to do it, it's definitely Peter. Fails the Iggy call for a second time. Getting hit by the EX Fireball. Not sure what's causing that, if it's a connection issue, if it's a little cross-up thing there, or if it's just a Granblue buffer coming in hot.
Believe in victory. Battle 1.
Haru coming in saying he's not sure if he wants Rick to win this tomato take. Which is a good question for everyone in the stream. If you had to remove, if you got to remove one, and only one, of a tomato, lettuce, gherkin, or onion from a burger, what would it be? And my answer is tomato. A lot of people like Padu were freaking out about that. But no, man. I like my bread to be toasted, not soggy. And the rest of them are so good. Like put lettuce, onions, and a gherkin on a burger. That's top tier. Tomato's pretty good, but I don't think it makes the burger. Jesus Christ! Look at the chat. Alright, Peter looking like he's gonna tie this back up, but I'm putting himself on toilet point. But this is what I wanted to see.
It's always the random petty things that get people so heated.
Yeah, man. I mean, Padu went off.
Burger fillings, cereal's always the big one.
Yeah, but to be honest, the people in HAB are weird, man. They use like warm milk and stuff, and like orange juice and weird stuff like that. I don't know. Again, I'm not gonna get into this because it'll just blow up the chat. But I find some of the at least the HAB classics that are always in voice, I find some of their cereal habits weird. But again, they find my cereal habits weird, which is just cereal, cold milk, done.
I can understand warm milk, but you know,
it depends on what you're with.
As strange as I'm just trying to wrap my head around orange juice, but as we're saying that, Peter is like 1 hit away from winning, and there it is, the 3-1 after the reset. Peter taking grand finals, and yeah, I don't look like a fool.
No, neither one of us do. But in fairness, it would be kind of stacked odds to not vote for Peter. And the real surprise was just that Peter was in loser bracket so early on. Neville sending him there before being beaten a little bit. I feel like Neville was on a really good track. He was having a lot of positive momentum going through this bracket. But then it started to, Rickster specifically shook him up with that reverse sweep. And then he didn't manage to recover from that. I would have loved to see the Neville that beat Peter and sent him down to losers in the first place, though. That would have been a really interesting match to watch.
Yeah.
But regardless, congratulations to Rickster for taking... to Peter, pardon. I got it mixed up for a second. Again, there's my UK bias coming in, but congratulations to Peter for taking a very convincing win at this Hearts of Blazing, and for Rickster for taking second place 2 weeks in a row. That means that the top 3 players are in for quite a lot of placement points. You can see the results from the last bracket right there. Yep. And to be honest, EU Granblue has never looked so strong. Thank you so much to everyone for turning up into the stream. We have over 100 viewers, pretty much the entire stream, so huge shoutouts to everyone on that side of things. On top of that, we had more than 40 players in the bracket again. That's incredibly stacked. Basically, EU Granblue has only looked healthier right at the game's release when we were having 60-man tournaments. But thank you so much to yourself as well for the brilliant addition to commentary. It was a pleasure commentating with you. Even if the start was a little bit rushed, we had some issues.
That's all good. I'm used to many different kinds of commentary environments, so, you know, very little phases me at this point. So,
For sure.
but it was a really great event. It was a good time. I'd be more than happy to do more. And yeah,
I'd love to have you on. I do want to see your Percy in the bracket though. That's the real issue, isn't it?
Yeah. Don't worry, I'll find my time to enter. I feel like I really want to enter as well. Like I feel like I'm at that stage where I was like, yeah, even if I go 0-2 or whatever, I feel like I can play the game at a well enough state where I can feel confident in entering.
I feel like that's the case for quite a few players at this point. For example, Margin, he's been wanting to be booked onto commentary, but every single week he's also like, I also want to play. Can I play this week? I'm like, yeah, go ahead, man. But with that said, thank you so much to absolutely everyone for all the support that you've been showing us so far. I have nothing but love for all of you. Quick shout out to a direct donation straight to the Matcherino. I don't want to butcher your name, but Iziel, thank you so much for the $10 that you put into the Matcherino. We are edging ever closer to that $200 pot that I want to achieve so badly. One day we'll catch up to the NA people, but for now, all we're doing is carrying the community on our backs. So again, huge shout outs to absolutely everyone. There's not many people streaming Granblue. I'm sure that people like Mr. Pow are probably going to be heading off pretty soon. So I'm going to be dropping you guys in on Deco Sage. So